in WHB with Celtics and Knicks. Game 7 on Sunday with Nuggets and Thunder. And so we'll see who the Timberwolves are going to play. We'll see who the Pacers are going to be playing. We'll find that out as the conference finals will be eventually. We might be 2 games away from knowing what the conference finals matchups are going to be. If the Knicks can take care of business tonight, and then we'll see on Sunday the Thunder returning home. They are 7.5-point favorites. What's your level of concern for Aaron Gordon? Because the Nuggets' level of concern is, quote, high for his, is it 52-80 high?
Those jerseys kind of throw me, man. I get it. It's kind of cool, but the whole...
I wanted a ref to call a foul on 52-80.
Yeah.
Boop. Foul. 5-2. 8-0. I mean, sorry, 4. Fouls on 4. But the level of concern is high for that late tweak of Aaron Gordon's hamstring that he immediately grabbed it.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, that's bad getting ready for a Game 7.
And if you're not a huge NBA person, you might think Aaron Gordon, is he really that big of a deal? If you watch, though,
that team,
the
hell
Nuggets,
yes.
He is the glue.
Dude.
He is
100%.
a guy, if they need him to score 25, he can get you 25. If they need him to go 10, 10, and 10, he'll get you, maybe not 10 assists, but he can get you 10 and 10 and 5. He is a phenomenal defender, very long, very lanky. The athletic, I mean, he's the most athletic guy on that team. Jamal Murray's not the most athletic guy. I'm not saying he's unathletic, but he's not it's not Anthony Edwards.
You know what Jamal Murray is? He's sneaky athletic. I mean, that's the Canadian in him,
Yeah.
because you don't like, oh, he's Canadian. He's got to be crazy athletic. Maybe if he was a hockey player, he would be. But he's sneaky athletic.
But
or maybe he's sneaky unathletic.
But like Nikola Jokic is not. Michael Porter Jr. was prior to all the back injuries, but he's not anymore. Yeah. I mean, Christian Brown kind of.
Christian.
Russell Westbrook somehow still is the most athletic guy on the floor at age 36. It's absurd. But the point remains, Aaron Gordon is their athletic big. Their athletic guy who can guard small 5s all the way down to 3s. If Aaron Gordon can't go, that is very, very concerning because that just means more Christian Brown. That means a probably larger role for Russell Westbrook still.
What would you? I'm trying to compare like locally, and I think people have a decent idea of what Aaron Gordon is, but trying to think locally, the 2022 KU championship team. Dylan, would you say Aaron Gordon is more McCormick or Jalen Wilson? Because it's not Brown or Ochai or Dewan or Remy, but McCormick was so underrated and was such a big part of that team. I think he's less underrated with the championship game that he had. And Jalen Wilson playing a couple of more years probably became less underrated, but for that particular team too.
Just because McCormick's so one-dimensional.
Yeah.
Like Aaron Gordon, like Sterling said, can do a lot. So I would say he's more Jalen Wilson.
Yeah, and Jalen Wilson guarding different positions, rebounds.
The third guy on a really good roster. Like you would have him as a number one on. He was the number one in Orlando
on the Magic.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think Jalen Wilson's probably what I would go with. My first thought is McCormick, but I'm like, no, he's such an integral part of that team because it was either him or Mitch Lightfoot, and it was like McCormick needed to have a big game against those bigs against North Carolina, and he had a huge second half.
There are so many guys in the NBA that you put them on a team and make them the one. They can get you 25 a night. We saw Aaron Gordon able to do that with Orlando. The name I always laugh at is Jeremy Grant. I don't remember Jeremy Grant. I believe he was a second-rounder, undrafted. He was horrible with the Sixers, horrible for so long. Finally got semi of a jump shot, went to Portland, and averaged like 25 a game for a year. Like, it just goes to show you that all these guys, if they're the number one option, they can get you 25. It might not be the most efficient, but they can get you 25. They can be the number one. The issue is, how many guys are content being the number 3? How many guys are content being a role player when they know, at least in the past even, they've been the dude? Getting that with an Aaron Gordon type of guy is, because it really is, it's Jokic and Murray. And then even then, if you're going to scoring, you're going probably to Michael Porter Jr., right? So the fact that Aaron...
a Leo Lyons.
a Michael Jr. Porter, according to... who is that?
Michael Anderson Jr.
When he was drafted, Michael Jr. Porter.
I can't remember. I'll take your word for it.
It was like Kendrick Perkins. Either way, I've always appreciated Aaron Gordon's game and his unselfishness. Wish
you got it. You'll get it.
Unselfishness.
Unselfishness. You know what?
Which
it's
in the NBA, and then try to throw which.
Unselfishness.
Unselfishness. Retractable.
Just think it through.
Unselfishness.
Nice job.
Which,
if anybody
in
has
the NBA,
a callback
is
for
rare.
me that I couldn't say retractable for like 3 weeks.
I
It
do
was
it all
like
the time.
retractable.
It's when you start getting out of your skis and you're just like, oh.
Dude, it was a computer glitch. In my mind because I just every time I would
Happens
get
to the best of us.
I would
you got
get,
the yips.
dude, I would get
It's
ready
the
to say
yips
it.
and
I would
words.
immediately stop and I would lose all I would leak oil immediately.
Yeah.
And
Well, it's Chuck
instead of
Knobloch.
saying retractable, it would be no, I don't want to say it wrong. Retractable mother.
We get hey, we're athletes too. We're like Rick and
Yeah.
Keel. Sometimes you just don't have it.
I'm gonna throw one more. K-State Cam Carter, that Elite Eight team. Cam
good
Carter
call.
for that K-State team. That was just sort of it wasn't Tomlin or Johnson or even I should say Noel and Johnson, and then Tomlin was good, Gasson, but Cam Carter, that guy that was just on the team, did a lot of different things and sometimes overlooked. But yeah, we'll see. What the concern level is high for Aaron Gordon tonight. What were you doing in 1999, Sterling?
I was 5. I was probably watching the NBA though.
Oh, were you at 5 years old?
Yeah, I remember like the 01 season very, very well.
But you don't remember the 2000. You don't remember the 1999.
I don't know, NBA
season.
Finals potentially or
Nope.
NBA playoffs.
Yeah, NBA playoffs.
Yeah, that was the Spurs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I watched so much NBA as a kid. Like that's what me and my dad did. I'm sure my dad was thrilled. I'm not watching like cartoons. He's like, "Hey, son, you want to watch the Lakers play the Kings?" I'm like, "Hell yeah, Dad."
Do I? Of course I do,
Do
Dad.
I want to watch Mike Bibby and Doug Christie go at it? Yeah, I do, Dad. Love Latrell Sprewell with those shoes. Remember he had the little rims.
Of course I do, Dad. I want to make bank.
But go ahead.
Drive a Range Rover. You know what I mean? That's what I want to do. No, 1999 was the last time the New York Knicks finished out a playoff series in New York, which they can do tonight for the first time since it wasn't even Y2K. Now they won playoff series since then. It's just so happened to be like the next year they go to the Eastern Conference Finals and they finish out on their road to that. That was all in that was all on the road.
Yeah.
When they won those particular series. But tonight the Knicks have an opportunity to finish out a playoff series at Madison Square Garden for the first time since 1999. We've got that for you right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. We will talk with Matt Derrick coming up at 11 o'clock. We will, pick his brain, shoot the breeze on the Kansas City Chiefs. The schedule is out. We know that. He's weighed in on it, talked about it.
Okay, sorry. I just did
No,
a
go ahead.
little deep dive. This seems nearly impossible.
Do the deep dive.
There was a guy on the Sixers that year in 1999 in the playoffs who was
Playoffs?
born in 1958. That seems nearly impossible.
Wow.
Like my mind is, I mean, he was 40, 41. My mind that was blown. Rick Mahorn. Wow.
The if we think how long ago that was,
The Washington Bullets were the team he started playing on with Wes Unseld.
the New York Knicks knock off the Indiana Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals in Game 6 in New York, led by Allen Houston's 32 and Latrell Sprewell's 20. Marcus Camby came off the bench to drop 15.
Yeah.
Larry Johnson, Grandmama, had 8 points in that game. And for the Indiana Pacers, unfortunately, Reggie Miller went 3 of 18
Yeah.
for 8 points. Rick Smits dropped 20, though. Jalen Rose came off the bench to score 16. Chris Mullen, a 1 point in 25 minutes played.
Oh, Chris Mullen. Come on,
for him.
dog.
Yeah, unfortunately for him. So
Gosh, I loved Allen Houston. Allen
That's
Houston was a fun
It's the
player.
last time the Knicks finished off a playoff series in New York, and they have the chance to do that tonight. I would suggest they do that tonight because
if they don't,
even
it's,
without Tatum, if they don't do that, I mean, come on, man, you need Jalen Brunson. The Brunson burner should be ignited tonight, as Ian Eagle would say. 913-912-40. Yes, exactly.
You need the Lil Wayne. Before he would in a song he would light the.
I'm going to take your word for
You know
that.
what I'm talking about? He would have the Dylan knows
Sure, he does.
the lighter.
Yeah,
He was lighting up something.
sure. I have no idea what it was. The Brunson burner
The
is what he was lighting up.
doobie.
That maybe marijuana cigarettes.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, 913. Should we get in the show?
We should do it.
Let's
I
do
don't
that.
know. I like the Marcus Camby talk personally.
That's
but
fine, too. Matt Derrick comes up at 11 o'clock. He's our Marcus Camby. Chiefs Digest 41 is the Mike podcast. We'll talk with him for the hour, talking some Chiefs football, some schedule release, some other things. We got the cuts before the show is over. No Mick Schaefer today. But you know what we have done? We've traded in our Mick Schaefer for a Dayton Moore.
Wow, what an upgrade.
Yeah, we're Dayton Moore without Mick Schaefer. So it's finally, that's what we're able to do. We got him out of our life, and we're Dayton Moore now. So we will we'll talk with, I'll tell you this right now. I talked with Dayton Moore already.
Oh.
We had that conversation this morning. We'll play it at noon, and there are some really good stories of that 15 team and how it came together and some of the thought process behind the scenes, some personal moments with Dayton Moore along the way, some arguments that may have taken place, some division within the front office and decisions that were not happy with everybody there, that people were upset and against, some decisions that were made along the way. Thought that was really interesting. So building that team that ultimately won the World Series was not easy, and even within an incredibly aligned front office that had been fighting for the same goal, one of the most significant moves in Royals history was divided and heated front office and divided in how staunch people were on their side of yes or no on this particular move. Thought that was really interesting from Dayton Moore, and we'll play that coming up at noon.
Do you think his legacy has actually improved since he moved on?
I think
we can say moved on.
I think as time passes, yes. I think anytime you have success like that and you're not in the moment and you're not living through it every single year of the tough 100 losses and then post World Series tearing down, or not even wanting to tear down, but just the realities of baseball that Hosmer's moving on.
The struggles, the monetary restraints, all that
right,
stuff.
But you lose 100 games, you're struggling. John Sherman, says, I'd like to see what a wild card team looks like, not just a World Series team. When Dayton is, championship. 2014, not good enough. Championship is what it's about. How do we build a championship team? And John Sherman's like, let's build a team that makes the playoffs. We don't have to be so focused on a championship, which I understood what John Sherman was saying. I think some of that, those that weren't in favor of moving on from Dayton Moore, those that weren't in favor maybe of John Sherman buying the team, may have viewed that as so he's just willing to settle for mediocrity. He's willing to settle for, making the playoffs now in the American League, you just have to barely be in the top half. You just got to be one of the top 7, like top 6.
Rockies would love that in the NL, but still.
Yeah, but I mean, you got to be.
A lot of teams would love that.
You got to be one of the 6 best teams. Back in the day, you had to be one of the 2 best teams. It's like now you got to be one of the 6 best teams. So I think his legacy grows as the years pass, and we know how difficult it is to win a pennant. We know that it's only 4 times the Royals have been in the Fall Classic, 2-2.
Yeah,
and he's a part of building 2 of those and one of those World Series. So, no matter what happened along the way, I'd rather be the Royals than the Rays.
Yes.
I'd rather be the Royals that struggled, won a World Series. The flag flies forever out there at Kauffman, while the Rays came close, and they've been really competitive a lot. Okay. But being really competitive gets old. Ask the Braves in the 90s. Fans stop showing up. Like, you're winning, but who cares? What happens in,
the Bills.
October?
It's the Bills in the NFL, if you want a comparison right there.
Yeah, because the Bills fans, I promise you, there's a percentage, I don't know how high the percentage is, that would rather lose the AFC Championship game than the Super Bowl.
Would they switch with, and again, recent history, of course, would they have switched different because AFC, NFC with Tampa Bay? Would they have switched with Tampa Bay?
That won a Super Bowl?
Won a Super Bowl.
Easy, yes.
In the past, I don't know, 8 years.
I mean,
because Tampa hasn't been good.
They've got 2, and the Bills have 0. 100%.
They have a documentary coming out, Please One Before I Die, I think is the title, or something to that nature. I would say they would take 1.
But honestly, I do wonder what percentage of Bills fans would say, no, I'd rather lose in the AFC Championship game in the Super Bowl. I don't want another loss in the Super Bowl on the record. They're 0-4 already. If they're going to get there, freaking win it. But if there's going to be a loss, I'd rather just lose in the playoffs than lose in the Super Bowl again. Whereas I'd rather go to the Super Bowl and win a Lamar Hunt trophy.
But I do,
because I didn't get to experience it in my lifetime, so I didn't know what it's like to go 4 in a row. The 4 Falls of Buffalo, as the 30 for 30 or the documentary, whatever it was that they had. I didn't live through that other than rooting against the Bills in those Super Bowls because I did not want the Bills to win because I hated the Bills at the time, and still do, by the way. But there's been an ebb and flow of the hatred of the Bills. It was at max capacity there, and now it has expanded in its capacity for me disliking the Bills, but liking some of the players. Certainly Josh Allen, I'm a big fan of his.
That was like the whole Allen Iverson thing. I don't know if you saw the schedule release for the Bills. It was great. It was Allen Iverson because we need to get AI.
Mm-hmm.
That was the whole thing. Was Josh Allen said we need to get AI, and they got Allen Iverson.
That was pretty.
And
good.
they go, "Can you say go Bills?" And he goes, "Go Josh Allen." that's me.
Yeah.
That's me. I don't like the Bills.
Yeah.
But go Josh Allen. I'm Allen Iverson.
And I gained more respect for James Cook too. Coming out of that game and the interview he did like 3 days later when people were talking about the refs, and he was like, "Are you kidding me? That has nothing to do with the refs.
Yeah.
Has nothing to do with the spot of the football. Has nothing to do with anything. We could have won that game. We had opportunities. If you're talking about the refs, said something about like whether it was like a losing mentality or whatever, but it was like that's on us to get the job. And I'm like, you know what, James Cook, I appreciate that from you. I didn't appreciate the fourth quarter or the fourth down run where you stuck the ball out and scored because multiple fourth down touchdowns would have been the game. The 4th and goal Josh Allen touchdown pass, the 4th and goal James Cook run, somehow found a way to get in. Like, oh, the Bills should have won that game, except for they were hanging on by a thread the entire game. Whatever.
But,
anyway.
But back to Dayton just really quickly here. I think his legacy is going to grow even more so in Kansas City. One, because we've talked about bringing a World Series to a small market team. One, I get where also Sherman was coming from in regards to, hey, we're losing 100 games. Let's stop talking about the being 1. Let's start talking about being number 10, number 5. And they did. I mean, how much excitement was brought back to Kansas City by them making the playoffs last year, going somewhat toe-to-toe with the Yankees.
Oh, it was great.
I mean, it was phenomenal. You had the buzz. And I do think that Dayton Moore is going to get a lot of credit for, one, moving on and going to the Rangers and winning a World Series there. Now, I know he's not the GM, but he's still in the organization. So that's, I think, something of, okay, so he still has it here. And also his predecessor is a guy who he somewhat taught with J.J. Piccolo, who was there for a long, long time. And you're seeing what J.J.'s done. Successor, sorry.
You're good.
And you're sitting here going, JJ's different, but you can still see some of the similarities that the good parts of Dayton. And I don't know. I just, for me personally, the very couple last years of Dayton were a struggle, and we're almost sitting here talking about, is he tarnishing his legacy? While now we're sitting here looking back going, oh my gosh, Dayton Moore, almost a cult hero of bringing a World Series back to KC. Now, of course, because the Royals were having some more success.
Yeah, and you know what? I mean, to be fair, I mean, Bobby Witt, Vinny Pasquantino, Michael Massey, Salvi, Michael Garcia, Isbell, in center field. Those are guys drafted and signed by Dayton Moore and his regime that are playing on this team that are big parts of it. So, and JJ's done a pretty damn good job of building around those guys too. And also, you got to develop some of those. Chris Bubich,
and that's maybe the biggest difference is the development.
Daniel Lynch in the bullpen, doing something there. So there are still the remnants of Dayton Moore in the drafting that J.J. Piccolo was certainly a part of. So it was a really, I thought there were some really interesting stories that came from that. We'll hear coming up at noon. Let's take a timeout. We'll come back. I do want to talk about some of the stories that were told yesterday at the press conference leading into the gala that was last night, leading into the 1985 celebration tonight, the 2015 celebration tomorrow against the Cardinals. But it's a couple of clips that were really interesting. Stephen St. John was just doing great work yesterday. Just the news hound that Stephen St. John, the guy that will find that he'll sniff the story out. So Stephen was doing a great job out there yesterday. There are a number of different stories about 85, but then also because Stephen asked the question to Dayton yesterday and got the answer that he got. I did not bring that up with Dayton today. I brought up different things with Dayton, but Dayton had a really interesting take on 2015 that trade deadline, and I think there's a lesson to be learned for this trade deadline based on what Dayton said yesterday about that trade deadline. We'll get into that coming up next. Matt Derrick joins us at 11 o'clock. We'll talk some Chiefs football. Chiefs Digest 41 is the Mike podcast. You know, I sent the audio/video to Matt Derrick and Nick Jacobs for 41 is the Mike because I was watching the New York Giants put out video of their top 30 visit with Jackson Dart.
Sure.
So they had Jackson Dart in New York. And those top 30 visits that they were talking about, remember they told the story that Shadur Sanders was not prepared for the plays and the different packages that they had given him that were installs and everything, that when they had him in, they were going to go over. So, like, Shadur was not as up to speed as he would have been expected to be if you're going to take somebody in the first round, whereas Jackson Dart was just on it. Like, hey, we told you this when you were in last time. Draw it up there on the board. And boom, bink, 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 bink. Okay, so if I give you this play, draw me the defense that will stop this play. And then he's da-da-da-da-da. And so in that video, I thought it was great. I had to record it and send it to him. They're looking through the defense, and the offensive coordinator goes, who's the Mike here? And he looks at it, he goes, 41 is the Mike. And I paused it, rewound it, recorded it, sent it to him. I'm like, oh, yeah, we did it.
Did I just hear Dylan through the glass say, no way?
We did it.
I think I heard Dylan through the glass say, no way.
Yeah, we did it.
Holy grail of sound.
We did it. Or it might have been, you know what, it might have been the Mike is 41. I think he reversed it.
That's almost better.
But it's good enough. See if I can.
We can work with that.
Linemen are blitzing or rushing. Okay. Yeah. Draw a blitz from the remaining 7 guys that we could not pick up in this protection.
57 Pro. Who's the Mike?
The mic is 41.
Good.
Yeah.
I can work with that.
Immediately sent it to him. Like, we did it. It's Jackson Dart and the Giants.
Do we need to add this to, like, the Matt Derrick intro? Do we need to just add this?
The mic is 41.
The mic is, it's like it's going to be.
We can just, can we recreate it?
May.
The mic is 41 and just take 41 is the mic. Just flip it, take 41, put it at the beginning.
It's going to be Frankenstein, but it'll work.
Perfectly fine, you know.
Well, no, it'll be Frankenstein's monster. You'd be Frankenstein in this situation.
Yeah, you're right, actually.
Because you'd be
Brian
Dr.
Dable.
Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd be creating it. That's right.
I would
That's
be,
right.
yeah.
You'd be creating it. It
They're
wouldn't be Dable.
Yeah. You're kind of like Dable. Who's the guy that goes and gets the Abby Normal brain? Who's that guy?
Oh, yeah.
You guys come up with that one.
By the way, is there
think
anyone
that's
worse
Dable.
than who? When I do it as like a joke, but when people are like, I'm gonna Frankenstein this, and I'm like, you mean Frankenstein's monster?
So is
like
there anything
that
worse
guy
than what
sucks.
you just did?
Yeah, that's my whole point. Was a bit. It's a
Okay,
joke.
I see.
Because I hate that guy.
I get it. No, that makes sense. I hate that guy too. So
It's like we all know what we're talking about. We know it's Frankenstein's monster, but the movie's called Frankenstein.
right, for sure. Hey, let's play these clips because I thought this was really good. You probably heard it already, but if you hadn't, then let's play it again. If you have, it's still fun. Stephen St. John was out there. George Brett, Daryl Motley, they were there as part of the press conference and the celebration. And I heard this yesterday on Petro's show, playing it, and then this morning with New Day. But the question that I think the question's in here to George Brett about the hug to Sabes, and then George Brett tells a story about Daryl Motley, which was great. But here's that great story and information that we all had no clue, and 40 years later, finally paying up.
They're going to give away a bobblehead of the hug between you and Sabres after Game 7. They're doing that tomorrow night. What do you remember about that moment when you're hugging Saberhagen after finally winning it all?
Well, I remember in the dugout, the bottom of the 8th when we were hitting. It was 11-0, and we were all saying, okay, whoever catches the last out gets $100 from everybody on the team. Yeah, why not? So the guy flies out to Motley, and I remember going up to talk to Brett, and I said, okay, there's 2 outs now. When this guy makes an out, kind of like the old Hoosier speech, and he will, like Ollie, you will make the second one, and this guy will make the last out. Don't go running all over the place because I want to be the first one to meet you. Because I've been through a lot of these failures. You haven't, you know. So sure enough, he hits it, and we run out there. We're waiting for Motley to catch it, and we give him a bear hug. And then I remember the first thing after that, Balboni come in, and he gave us both a bear hug. You know, he is so big, and his arms so strong. And then after that, it was total chaos. I knew Darryl Motley was coming today. I never paid him his $100. I saw him in the lobby there, and I went up and I gave him $100. He wouldn't take it. I said, no. Here's $100. I've owed it to you for 40 years. I've told this story 1,000 times. I'm getting it off my conscience. We're even. I don't know if anybody else has paid him, but I know I wiped my debt clear with him that day, today.
That was great. And, of course, Stephen being the story getter, the news getter, the nose for the information, Darryl Motley walks in, and, of course, it's the first thing you start with.
So, Darryl, did you get the $100 from George? He said he paid you $100 today.
He did give me $100. I can prove it. I can't believe he gave it to me either. But, yeah, he gave me $100. $100 bill, as a matter of fact.
He said he didn't know if he was the only one that's paid you for that or the other players paid back
Nobody else, to my knowledge. Here it is right here. Nobody else has ever paid me for that. And I remember they told me, hey, whoever catches the last out, everybody got to give them $100. As soon as we won the whole thing, I caught the last out. I couldn't even believe it was coming to me, actually. But after I caught it, everybody scattered. Yeah, everybody.
Might be time to collect now.
Well, if I could get them to do like George did, I'd do pretty good tonight.
Do you feel bad then if you're on that team and you show up and you're like, oh, crap, George paid that? George paid up? Oh, well, I guess I got to let me go get a $100 bill and give it to Darryl.
By the way,
yeah,
I think it's a little BS. It's only $100 now. I just did the math.
What's the math?
In 1985, it's $100.
Okay.
2025, with inflation,
right?
It's $298.14.
Yeah, but it's probably got to be more than that because not only inflation, but you've got, like, if you gave him $100 then and he invested the $100. Well,
that's my point. If you use them just
and it should double every 5, 6, 7 years. So now you're looking at probably about $2,000 a piece.
That seems a little high.
Why?
But
no,
I think the $298.14. I'm gonna go.
You think he walked
Steven,
out of?
Get back to Darryl Motley. Go ask him this.
You think
George.
he walked out of there with $2,400 last night?
No, I don't think he did.
But great story that I paid up. It's off my conscience. He wouldn't take it. No, you are taking this $100 bill. I am not going to be thinking about this for another 40 years. Yesterday also was George Brett's 72nd birthday. So really cool having that gala there celebrating. And tonight will be that George Brett Saberhagen Embrace bobblehead. Tomorrow, the replica ring giveaway. You want to be in your seat by 5:10 tomorrow, by 5:50 tonight. So if you're going tonight, be in your seat by 5:50. That's what the Royals have said. If you're going tomorrow, be in your seat by 5:10 if you're going to be there. And then, they still have the rest of the celebration bobblehead with Gordo's on June 13th.
Yeah.
And then July 11th is Hosmer, September 19th Salvi. And then what I really want is that July 28th jersey.
Yeah.
The replica jersey of the Royals, the white jersey with the blue Royals in 85, and the name on the back is Champs 85. That's pretty legit.
Good giveaways this
dude,
year.
There's some
it feels
amazing
like
giveaways.
some really good giveaways.
We already had the Mustakas Championship giveaway.
And by the
last
way,
month.
I think it's phenomenal. I know, of course, you do it this time around, but I still love twisting the knife in St. Louis. I still absolutely love that they're doing this against the Cardinals. Great planning, great giveaways. Twist it, baby, because the Cardinals kick rocks. By the way, the best jersey I've ever seen, a Dinkinger jersey. I think if anyone has, I'm going to the Royals-Cardinals game in St. Louis in a few weeks. I think it's like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So, one, I told myself I'd never go to Busch because, let's be real, bleep St. Louis
So you're gonna head to
and
Brazil?
the Cardinals.
Anyway, go ahead.
That was pretty clever. Good for you.
Go ahead.
That was good.
Anyway.
But I'll be going to Busch.
Stupid.
And
you want a Dinkinger 85 jersey?
I want a Dinkinger 85 jersey so
know what you can do?
I can twist the knife.
MLB Shop. Create it.
I don't want to spend that much money.
So
I'm
you
a
want somebody
frugal,
to do it?
No. I'm a frugal man. My point is, you don't have to make it, or you don't have to buy it for me.
Man.
If you have a Dinkinger 85 jersey, because I've seen them,
yeah,
I shall borrow it from you
for a nominal fee. Just
potentially
pay you for the weekend.
You'll probably get a stain on it.
Okay.
You'll get a stain on it.
It's not going to help your case.
I know, but I'm honest. I'm an honest man.
It's detrimental to your case, man.
Jason, I'm an honest man. Okay. Probably get a stain on it. Maybe some mustard, most likely a beer. But I'm going to wear it to St. Louis and rock that Dinkinger 85 jersey.
Good for you.
So if you have one, medium or large preferably, let me know.
Not only do you have one, you got to let him borrow it. It's got to be the right size, and you got to accept a stain when he gives it back to you. Boy, you are you're right. You're first in line, man.
Hey, I am not
going to. People are going to be lining up to give you their jerseys.
Phone lines are lighting up. I can't even pick which one.
I'm not going to overpromise. I'm not going to overpromise and underdeliver.
You're not really promising anything. They're giving you the jersey.
Yeah, but
what are you promising them? You'll bring it back?
Well, I can't promise that because I could lose it. But it'll be a good story, and I will take a picture of it, and I will be surrounded by Cardinals fans, and I'll probably get booed.
Good stuff.
So
congratulations on that. Let's play this real quick. This is George Brett. This is clip number 4. And Steven asking him about Game 3 against the Toronto Blue Jays. Now, the Royals came back from 3-1 against the Cardinals, but they also came from behind 3-1 against the Blue Jays. They were down 2-0 against Toronto. And the biggest game of the postseason that now we know the last chance that group ever had to win a World Series was there. And Game 3 against Toronto is essentially a must-win game. You know, it's not a must-win, but you better not lose it. And they did not lose it. And George Brett was unfreaking real in that game. 4 for 4, 11 total bases. He hits 2 home runs, hits a double, scores 4 runs, drives in 3. And again, a have-to-have-it game. And he does that. And Steven, asks him about what he remembers of Game 3.
I picked a good day to have the best day of my life. It was the best game I ever played, by far. And it was the most important game, as it turned out. If we lose that game, I don't think we're going to come back and win 4 straight. Well, obviously, we lost the next day. But for me to go out there and have a performance like that, that's something that I'll never forget. I mean, and Dick Hauser, everybody thinks that we lost 10 playoff games in a row. We didn't. He lost some with the Yankees. So everybody, Dick Hauser's first win, he's 0-10. And I just remember, how calm he was. And I was fortunate enough to catch the last out. Dwayne Mosby hit a pop-up to me. I swear to God, it was one of the highest frickin' pop-ups ever. I'm sitting there. I'm starting to shake. I'm going, you can't miss this one. And I caught it, and I'm walking off the field. I remember Frank came over, gave me a big hug, walking across the field. And Dick's walking across, and I had the ball. I said, here, you deserve this. And I gave it to him.
Just amazing. I picked the best day to have the best game I ever played. And then he said, by far. Again, they're down in the series 2-0. That's also a day, by the way, that Sabes gave up 5 runs in 4 innings. So you couldn't have won that thing 1-0. So first inning, he hits a solo shot. They're up 1-0. 1-0 in the second, 1-0 in the third. 4th inning, up 1-0. He hits a leadoff double. He gets sacrificed over to third by the way, your number 4 hitter, Hal McRae. Hal McRae bunts him over to third.
Salvi.
Think about that, though. George Brett, you're up 1-0.
Yeah.
In the 4th inning, George Brett leadoff double. And your number 4 hitter, Hal McRae, says, we got Sabes on the mound. Because he didn't give up 5 runs until the 4th or 5th inning. We got Sabes on the mound. We add on here. We're good. I'm going to bunt George Brett over to third. And then Frank White hits the sacrifice fly. You're up 2-0.
Well, they were paid hundreds of millions of dollars to be able to do that, right?
Yeah.
Oh, wait,
That's
no.
right. No.
Okay, so the guys that are doing that now that are paid hundreds of millions can't bunt.
Can't bunt them over.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And then the 5-run score for the Blue Jays. They're down 5-3 in the bottom of the 6th inning with 1 out. George Brett comes up with a man on and hits a 2-run home run to tie it at 5. And then in the bottom of the 8th, tied 5-5, George Brett leads off with a single. gets sacrificed over to second, by the way, and then a ground out to third. A ground out moves him over to third, and Balboni with a single to score Brett, and then Farr comes on in the ninth inning and shuts him down, and they get that win. But I went through and looked because Baseball Reference has the win probability added for every single play, and the 4 at-bats for George Brett alone, win probability added 48%.
Oh, my gosh.
For a game. In his 4 at-bats, 4 times at the plate, he added 48% win probability for the entire game on his 4 at-bats alone. Like, it's one of the greatest performances we'll probably ever see in a Royals uniform for what it meant. And that go 4 for 4, 2 home runs, 3 RBIs. You scored all 4 times you were on base. And you won 6-5. All right? They didn't. That wasn't 11-0 in Game 7. It was Game 3 down 2-0, and you won 6-5. And Brett did that. Just phenomenal, man.
And I don't know baseball like I know football, but isn't that also a all-time game, not just a Royals all-time? Like, they talk about that in the lore of baseball, the Game 3 in Toronto for him?
Yeah. 4 for 4, 2 home runs. I mean, and that's why Steven brought it up. Like,
that,
Game
the
3.
Yankees series, too.
You having that. But that's the thing. People remember the hits against the Yankees, but they didn't win the World Series that year.
Yeah.
Right. Like, every time they show a George Brett postseason, the first one is that towering shot he hits in Yankee Stadium.
Was it off Gossage, I believe?
Yeah. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. Dayton Moore gave a story yesterday on the trade deadline. I want to play that, and there's a message. There's a message to take from it. I think a lesson, I should say, for this year. We'll talk about that coming up next. we didn't know about, things that he was doing and reacting and behind the scenes is building that 2015 team. We'll play that coming up at noon. He was at the press conference yesterday, and Stephen St. John asked Dayton Moore about that trade deadline 2015, what went into acquiring Cueto and Ben Zobrist and trading the prospects that they did.
Can you take me back to 2015 when you made those big moves for Cueto and Zobrist, what the mentality was, and how confident you were that they were going to get you over the hump?
That's a great question, and that's a whole chapter of just kind of how we broke that down and what have you. And but you know, we felt that it was so important to complete our roster in a way that would match up against the best teams in not only the American League, but in all of baseball, because that was our goal to win the World Series there in 15. And so, you know, when Johnny Cueto came available and Ben Zobrist came available, I remember telling, you know, the late now Walt Jocketty, who was, you know, the general manager of the Cincinnati Reds, just passed away a couple weeks ago. I said, Walt, we're winning this negotiations. We have to have Johnny Cueto. We want Johnny Cueto. Nobody's off limits. And I told Billy Beane the same way. Now, the dynamic there was we were asking Oakland and Cincinnati to eat money. We weren't in a position to take on any money, and so we had to give up, you know, some very impactful players. And I remember Billy asking me, he said, look, I don't want to embarrass myself, he said, but we're going to ask you for Sean Manaea. And I said, that's fine. We'll talk about that. I sent Rene Francisco down to Double-A to set on Sean Manaea, and he called me and he said, look, he's a couple years away, but he's gonna stick it up our tail one day. He's gonna be a good major league pitcher. And you know, he told me he was 2 years away, and like I said, we needed that type of talent in Ben Zobrist. You know, a professional hitter, both sides. He could play second base. He could play all you know, both corner positions in the outfield, and you know, he really solidified our lineup. You know, with him and Kendrys Morales, two switch hit bats that could hit 1 through 6. You know, in the top 6 in our order, made a big difference to lengthen out of our lineup.
So nobody's off limits is what he told Cincinnati and what he told Oakland. Nobody's off limits. We know they traded Sean Manaea to the A's for Ben Zobrist. They traded Finnegan and Lamb and Reed for Johnny Cueto to the Reds. And the lesson here to me, it's not that nobody's off limits, although if you get the right package of players, like if they want to trade you Shohei Ohtani for Jack Caglione, I think you would do that. So, like, literally you can't say that nobody's off limits. But I wouldn't trade Jack if you're looking for what you need for this team this year. Okay, so you need some power and things like that. But as far as like, okay, so, I mean, this guy, you can't trade this guy, you can't trade that guy, you can't trade this guy, you can't trade that guy. Here's the lesson. The Royals' top 30 prospects in 2015. Boy, and they had a pretty good farm system, man. Oh, a good farm system. They're building that farm system. Sean Manaea was number 1.
Sure.
Raul Mondesi was number 2. Brandon Finnegan, number 3. So you traded your number 1 and 3 prospects. Now here are the rest of them.
And by the way, those the 1 and 3 and 2, they all had phenomenal long careers, correct?
This is the point. We go down the top 30 prospects for the Royals in 2015. Sean Manaea, Raul Mondesi, Brandon Finnegan. 2 of those 3 were traded. Kyle Zimmer, Hunter Dozier, Foster Griffin, Miguel Almonte, Chase Vallett, Christian Benford, Jorge Bonifacio, Scott Blewett, Bubba Starling, Ryan O'Hearn, Brandon Downs, Chesler Cuthbert, Dominic Taylor, Colin Rogers, Glenn Sparkman, Elier Hernandez, Ray Fuentes, Sam Selman, Ramon Torres, Lane Adams, Martin Gasparini, Orlando Calixte, John Lamb, Whit Merrifield, Cody Reed, and there's your top 30.
So Whit Merrifield and Ryan O'Hearn. O'Hearn might be the second guy on that list.
Imagine if somebody's like, the lesson here is when we go Jack Caglione, Blake Mitchell, Carter Jensen, Ben Kudrin, Noah Cameron, Gavin Cross, Steve Zobak, David Shield, Blake Walters, Mazzucato. I mean, how are you? I don't know that you can trade some of these guys to get some help this year. Well, can you trade Kyle Zimmer? Can you trade Dozier, one of your first-round draft picks? I mean, this guy is going to be a mainstay at third or in right field. You can't touch Raul Mondesi. He's got 7 tools. Foster Griffin, that's a lefty. You're not trading a lefty there. Bonifacio has like 70 power. You can't touch Bonifacio. Imagine if they said Finnegan and Minaya are off limits. These guys are untouchable. Sorry, we're not trading Minaya. We're not trading Brandon Finnegan. Okay, you guys have to figure something else out. And the Reds said, well, we're going to trade Johnny Cueto to somebody else that's going to give us the package of players that we want. Or the A's saying, Sean Minaya, that's who we want. Oh, no, not Sean Minaya. What about Foster Griffin? What about Kyle Zimmer? No, we want Sean Minaya. I'm sorry, we'll move on and find somebody else.
So the lesson is, one, people always value their team's prospects more than anyone else.
That's it.
And two, I will say, player development was a little different back then than now. I think it's at least to try and play a level playing field here. But I've always said, for example, I'm with you. I think Jack's probably the only untouchable. But at the same time, Will Myers was thought to be untouchable too.
100%. Will Myers, number 1 prospect in baseball. Like, you cannot trade that guy for a starting pitcher and a project starting pitcher that could be a bullpen arm. Like, are you kidding me?
Like, Jack Caglione's like the number 22 player in baseball. Will Myers
number
was like
10.
number. Is he number 10 now?
He's moved up.
So
they
he's moved
updated
up.
it. Yeah. Yeah. Will Myers, number 1.
Point remains though. Like when people say like Blake Mitchell or Carter Jensen, I'm like, no, they shouldn't be untouchable.
Yeah.
They should not be untouchable.
I mean, I don't want him to trade.
I don't want him to trade.
Ben
I'm not saying trade him for nothing, but
yeah. But I'm with. That's the lesson: is don't overvalue your own players. o'clock. We'll talk with Dayton more an hour from now. Mick Schaefer is out today, but we still have the cuts today before the show is over as well. We'll talk with Matt Derrick coming up here in just a little bit. Chiefs Digest 41 is the Mike podcast. He'll be here when the construction crew allows him to be here, and not a second sooner.
He's stuck in road construction, but we'll talk roster construction when he gets here.
They are not letting anybody in or out of the only entrance to this area from Metcalf. The only way you can get in here, and right now they are paving that 121st Street.
And which guy's going to pave his way onto the 53-man roster?
Just love that it's like, you know what, lunchtime. Let's go ahead and shut these different offices down in this area on Metcalf during lunchtime. And this street here that has a bunch of restaurants and everything. Let's close this down right around lunchtime and pave the road so nobody can go in and out or use that road.
Speaking of lunchtime, do we need to see Omar and Norman Lott eat more to get that weight up? I don't know, man. That was a reach. That was bad. That was
I mean, you could have said, like, speaking of lunchtime, who on this defense is going to be eating this year for the Chiefs?
I thought that was too on the nose. I want to be more on the nose.
Speaking of lunch, whose lunch is going to be eaten by Chris Jones this year in their schedule? Am I right or am I right? You know what I mean? So we'll talk with Matt Derrick at that point when he joins us. So that'll be a lot of fun. I think he's perfectly fine with it too, with what's going on. From what
he seems calm.
From what I can see,
I believe
calmer than you are.
Those emojis seem calm, right?
Yeah, it was like wink, wink, smiley face. Eggplant was random, but it seems pumped to be coming in on the show today. He's excited that 41 is the mic. We got that particular thing for him. 913-912-4810 is the text line to join us to be a part of the show. 913-912-4810 to join us. Text says, size medium or large, ? For you. Check the baby gap, baby boy. Heavyweights only. I like that one.
Medium or large is a very normal size.
Text
not saying extra small out here.
Text says, I gave a Dinkinger 85 jersey to Jackson County Judge Jeff Keel.
Nice. Strong.
Awesome. Yeah. There we go. 913-912-4810.
So I got made fun of once.
Yeah.
And someone who already gave one away. So not looking good for my Dinkinger 85 proposition.
Yes.
You know what I'm going to call it?
What are you going to call it?
Proposition 85.
There you go.
Like put that on the bill.
Yeah, right. What they're gonna pass a bill in the legislature so that you can get a Dinkinger 85 jersey.
Before
they talk about that.
Honestly, better. What is better odds? Proposition 85 passing or Missouri actually talking about getting a stadium passed?
It's like the 87th or 85th bullet point there along the way, and it's just so random and nobody even cares about it. There's so many other bigger things in there. They're like, this pork, I don't even know what this is. This is just pee. It's not even pork.
We'll pass it. It's $100. We'll pass it.
I don't care. That's an 85 Dinkinger.
Whose kid is this?
I don't know.
He needs a jersey. Just buy him a jersey.
It doesn't matter. I mean, I know there's waste, but whatever. But yeah, I thought it was. Matt Derrick's here.
Hey, he made it.
He was allowed to come into the studio.
Yay! Matt Derrick was allowed to drive here. Hello, Matt. Let's
hey guys.
You know what? Let's lay down on the couch and just let it all out. Let's see what let's talk about it here. Let's talk through it, shall we?
Is this all of a sudden turning into an episode of Frasier where I get to exercise my demons and
that's exactly right.
All of that.
Uh-huh.
I mean, at the risk of saying anything that's going to get me kicked off the air or hated by people and everything.
Uh-huh.
And I don't want to disparage the wrong folks and everything, but This little repaving project you guys got going out here on
makes no sense. The roads were fine. I don't blame the workers.
It wasn't that bad. Exactly.
I don't blame the workers at all because they're just doing what they're supposed to do.
I blame the workers because
who's
the workers
in charge?
Workers were giving me attitude today. And I was not happy about that.
That is common out there,
and especially because I'm trying to turn. I tried to turn left, and there was like
left.
You got to take a U-turn. You got to go take a U.
So I took the U-turn to come down and turn right.
I can't get left.
And I was told it's going to be 10 minutes before you can get through here. They just got to finish rolling. So I'm like shaking
They're
my
not
head.
rolling the papers. They're rolling papers, right?
Well, who knows what they're rolling? But at the time, they were rolling the pavement.
Rolling. Come on.
So then, I'm like, I'm just shaking my head, and I'm like, whatever. And so I go ahead and pull up and everything like that. As soon as I pull forward and everything, and before I even get to then now I'm going to make another U-turn because now I'm going back up to whatever 120th or whatever. It's where you would turn into like Nordstrom
you're
Rack
taking
and
a lot
all
of
that
U's.
nonsense.
Lot
Yeah,
of
I'm taking
U's.
another U-turn.
You're making
to come
circles at this
back, so I
point,
can
yeah.
now take a left turn instead of a right turn. This is going to be my third attempted turn into Corporate Lakes. So I come down there, and before I even get to that U-turn area, I can see in my rearview mirror that they are now letting vehicles out of Corporate Lakes cross where they're rolling. So if she had just given me 15 seconds, I could have made my turn in. And then I have to sit in the left turn lane. I have to sit through another light change. The truck that was blocking the left turn lane finally moves out of the way and allowed one vehicle behind him to get through the left turn lane.
Nice.
So then we're trying to make the left turn. Unfortunately, people coming out of the little shopping center across the street were making their left turn to go north.
Amazing.
Light changes. They're now blocking the intersection. So anyone who wants to know...
I'm laughing at enjoying in somebody else's misery. I don't mean to do that. It's just the whole...
So we'll be joining it here in, you know,
that's
3
fine.
hours.
Speaking of gridlock, it sounds like Missouri couldn't get anything done either.
Hey, there you go. I'm just going to say...
killing it.
Found one.
If
You are killing it, Sterling.
anybody wants to know who I was honking my horn at, and if you saw an individual giving anybody half the peace sign at that intersection,
right?
and you're wondering...
Which half?
You're number one.
Number one.
I wasn't telling them they were number
one.
one. I wasn't telling they were number
number
one.
one.
It's the people who are blocking the intersection.
The
So
cars that
the
were
cars
just-
that were blocking it
Yes.
because
Not
you
the
do
workers.
not.
Not
in
the
this
workers.
situation, it wasn't the workers.
Right.
And actually, technically, I never did it to the workers. All I'm going to say to the
Technically.
workers, all I'm going to say to the workers and everything, and to the powers that be, is that I've been coming to the station now, every Friday to do this segment.
Did you pull it? Do you know who
let
I
him
am?
talk. Let him talk.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I've been doing this, coming to the station for the last every Friday.
Yeah, like
They've been
6 years.
doing this street project for
Yes,
like
thank
8
you.
weeks
Yeah, that's
at
true.
least.
I like to
been
think
a
that they're
while.
listening right now and that this is their whole plan is
And-
for us to
Is that
talk
right?
about it. They just love this.
Well, if they're listening, I do appreciate those.
I
that
do
are out there
appreciate your hard
working.
work out there. Just
I
move.
appreciate
But just
the- I
those
mean,
that are
out of the
maybe,
way.
maybe those that are planning the timing of it and when it's taking place in the middle of lunchtime
Lunchtime.
of a lot of, as opposed to like, I don't know, even if it would affect me, like 2:00 seems like a better time to knock that out.
And if, hey, I'll tell you what, if
Not
you're
as
if
many
you're
cars
if
on
you're
the road.
using contractors to do this, because there was a name that was on a trailer that was not a public entity.
Ooh.
I guess I can go ahead and
No, you're
disparage
fine.
them,
No,
can't
no,
I?
no,
Okay.
no,
Well,
no,
it was
we're
East
fine.
Texas trailers, so they're not
fine.
local. So
Okay, well maybe they were. Maybe they were originally from East Texas.
But I'm just saying, if you're a contractor working on this and you're the government in charge, you're not getting what you're paid for. So just hold it back. I don't. I guess I said at the beginning I didn't want to disparage the entity involved.
Yeah, right.
I can attest and report that there is at least one, if not multiple, civic governments here in this area that when I was with in the construction industry.
So you're aware of these things
I'm aware of these
because
things.
you've worked at it before.
They would typically refer to at least one of the cities in Johnson County, maybe a big one, by prefacing that by putting the People's Republic of in front of it to just make sure that But you know what? I mean that's even too much of a compliment, because if this was China right here, this construction project would have been done in 3 days.
Maybe not well, but it would have been done. Or maybe it would have been done well, actually.
They built COVID hospitals in like 6 days. So
Yeah.
all right, I'm
Some people
done.
would say you just don't even have to qualify with hospitals.
Well, I mean, you got me in a mood now, so you can get
I
any
love it.
ranch you want to. You can get.
Wait, Matt Derrick's in the mood right now.
Let's
Did you hear
go.
that,
You can
Dylan?
get
Matt Derrick's in the mood
schedules.
right
I love
now.
it. Let's do it, man. Matt Derrick is hanging out with
You want
us.
to push my buttons? Just ask the right questions, and you'll get it.
Matt Derrick is with us. Matt, Chiefs primetime fatigue.
I already have it. I haven't seen
Yeah.
one this year yet.
Yeah, not from us necessarily, but it does become to where, I mean, you guys are covering the games, like actually working covering the games. Dylan's doing post game and things like that.
Matt joins us as well.
Sterling is for a different entity, so you guys do more of those things. I just carve out time to watch and take notes and that stuff. So it's not as big of a deal to me of when they play. But I will tell you, if you change Chiefs to Patriots, I'd be like, really? Like every freaking week, we got to make sure that this team is on national television. You don't have anybody else? Like you don't have I mean, and to a degree, it's like they are the ones paying the bills. Like they are the ones that are bringing in the money and bringing in the eyeballs, even if it's from hate watching. And we see it year after year, so it's not a surprise. But we get it yet again this year with all of the primetime or standalone games that the Chiefs have. And it's the first time in NFL history that a team has 5 primetime games in the first 8 weeks of the season. And that's ultimately what the Chiefs have.
Yeah, and there was a couple of things in this schedule that kind of, do jump out at me. And one, those 5 primetime games in the first 8 weeks. It's last year. In the last couple of seasons, they've lost a Chiefs primetime game late because they had a Chiefs primetime game scheduled against a team that is terrible. Whether they were already terrible or they became terrible. So, they had to flex it out because you can't have the Chiefs playing the Patriots and, their terribleness in primetime. So they've lost some games there. So clearly some of it was, okay, we need to get the Chiefs in some of their premier games early so that they're at least legitimate games.
You're not flexing out Christmas.
And I say this even though the Giants game does loom as like a giant flashing trap game, but you get that game on the schedule, in week 3 because Giants are probably going to be terrible. They're not going to be. Maybe they're going to go 500. I don't think so. I think they're going to be a non-entity. But you can't schedule Chiefs-Giants in Week 12 because by then the Giants may very well just be buried at the bottom of the league. Put them in Week 3. There's still some options. There's still some juice in that matchup because you got the nation's largest TV market and the league's biggest draw.
Yeah.
And that's the other part of it that really flashes out because you can crunch the numbers a few different ways, but my understanding, and the NFL will tell you, the 2 biggest draws that they have are the Chiefs and the Cowboys. And usually they'll say the Cowboys are the bigger draw. And in total numbers, they probably are. My understanding is that, like in the key demos, Chiefs are the bigger draw than the Cowboys right now. So they've got a younger fan base. That's a big part of it. So more younger people are going to be watching the Chiefs than they're going to be watching the Cowboys because the Cowboys haven't been relevant in 20 years.
I've been hearing a little bit about the Taylor Swift effect. That
could be the Taylor Swift effect,
but seriously, is there anything to if Kelsey retires, do the Chiefs lose some of the extra fan base, maybe the female demographic or the Taylor Swift fans? If that's the case, are they trying to capitalize on this now?
I think that would make sense if they are, but
yeah.
I don't think it. I would just say that it doesn't hurt that Taylor Swift roots for the Chiefs and shows up to games. I think if Taylor Swift were dating a random actor or something, the Chiefs would still have 7 primetime games.
Might have 6.
You think there's an extra one that's Taylor Swift?
Taylor may push him into the 7th. But here's the thing. If Taylor Swift was dating Nick Bosa, we're certainly.
It would be an odd matchup considering their beliefs.
Well, it was just
the house divided.
I was literally just trying to think of a random NFL player, and that was for some reason the first thing that popped in my mind. You can make, but even say an even more random NFL player,
Mason Rudolph.
There you go, beautiful.
Nice.
You're not putting. Who's Mason Rudolph even playing for now?
No, who's he with now? Not the Browns. That's Kenny Pickett.
Still with the Steelers?
Yeah.
Still with the Steelers?
I was thinking Kenny. You said Mason Rudolph. I'm like, oh, it's Kenny Pickett.
Titans, I can't keep track of Mason Rudolph and his various enterprises.
Who can?
But hey, are they all of a sudden going to be on 7 primetime games? No,
not.
Are they going to get? Are they going to get one more game? Maybe it's the Taylor effect is one game.
Would you say that the one more game we got is the Giants game because Russell Wilson, Sierra is it in New York?
Oh wow,
it's in
New York.
It's going to be the early game. It's a nice weather still.
And exactly, and that's you put that game early, so there's no way you're going to flex it. You can't lose it. It's not going to be hey, the Giants are 1-9. The worst thing the Giants can be is 0-2. So it's still going to be an interesting game.
Let's hear from Mike North then.
Love me some Mike North.
Yes, you guys talked with him last year, right?
We talked to one of his lieutenants.
Okay,
but we're hoping to have him on next.
Okay,
week,
yeah,
so.
fingers crossed there. The Up and Adams show with Kay Adams. This came out yesterday. Here's Mike North and Kay Adams talking about the question is in there with Kay Adams and Chiefs primetime fatigue, but here's Kay Adams and Mike North. He's the VP of broadcast for the National Football League and a huge part of the schedule making. Here's Kay Adams with Mike North.
How surprised are you by how surprised people are that the Chiefs are getting so many primetime games?
Yeah, I think if anybody's paid attention, that's sort of what the Kansas City Chiefs schedule is these days. What do they won? 3 of the last 6 Super Bowls? That puts you into a non-routine scheduling formula. Sundays at noon in Arrowhead are rare. There's actually 4 or 5 of them this year, which is probably more than they're probably used to. But yeah, look, the 7th primetime game, if you will, Brazil, that kind of came about at the end. Always we're going to be earmarked for, 2 or 3 NBCs, 2 or 3 ESPNs, an Amazon or 2. Christmas, they literally raised their hand and volunteered, and you can imagine how excited Amazon was for that, knowing they were going to be on the back end of a streaming triple header with Netflix having 2 games on Thursday afternoon on Christmas and then a big Amazon game at the end. So I don't think the Chiefs were surprised. I don't think the Chiefs fans are surprised. Anybody who's been, watching football for the last few years know that's the Chiefs have almost kind of surpassed the Cowboys, really, as the bell cow. And this is what happens when you're pop culture, part of the fabric of the country right now. And this is par for the course for the Chiefs.
Mike, people are going to hear pop culture and think you're doing this for Taylor Swift. That's what the whole internet is saying. But it's more about a belief in the Chiefs as a more, I imagine, global brand and a Patrick Mahomes revenge, light the world on fire tour.
Yeah, and if Taylor wants to come, we'll make sure there's and if he wants to sing, that's good too. We need an anthem.
Once he said pop culture, you knew where it was going to go. Pop culture is for Taylor Swift. It's only because of Taylor Swift. I think a better wording would be sort of their status in the country of like the premier NFL team that is talked about and debated and discussed and liked and hated, which is part of pop culture.
Yeah.
But Taylor Swift is dating Travis Kelce, and you say pop culture, then it's going to go to that. And as he said, well, it doesn't hurt. And if she wants to sing an anthem, we need an anthem. I think he's talking about for Brazil, going on the road there. Or Christmas, I don't know. We need an anthem for the Christmas game since they're going to be played.
That's Mariah Carey, Don't You Dare.
Oh, that's right. Don't want a lot for Christmas. There is just one thing I need.
By the way, I love that at one point he just goes, if you watch football, like if you've been watching the Chiefs, he's basically just saying, if you know ball, then you should understand the Chiefs are getting prime
by
time.
this. And I don't know that people are surprised by it. I think people are annoyed by it. Like, I think surprised and annoyed are different.
Yeah,
fair.
I mean, and he touched on a couple of things and almost just flat out said the quiet part loud a couple of places, which, Chiefs, 5 Super Bowls, 6 years, win 3 of them. Patriots didn't do that. I mean, this is rarefied air. But even if you want to put the Patriots into it, last 25 years, I mean, you go last 30 years. Probably, if you include the Cowboys and the 49ers dynasties, you could probably say really last 50 years or in the Super Bowl era. This is a totally different thing. I mean, what the Chiefs are doing. And you can say and substitute the Chiefs for the Patriots if you want to. Well, that was the thing, is that when the Patriots were the Patriots, you were either watching them because you wanted them to win or you were watching because you wanted them to lose. And we all knew at some point that the Chiefs were going to go from being the hero to the villain. I mean, nationally they've done that. Yes. So, now I have no doubt that in most of the country, other than the Taylor Swift fans and the Swifties, which is a sizable number, obviously,
sure.
Everybody else is going to be watching because they want the Chiefs to lose, man.
Yeah.
They're excited about that.
Which is going to be such a Sophie's Choice on Thanksgiving. Who does the country root to lose?
The Chiefs are the only team that can make the Cowboys palatable.
I mean, they just did it to the city of Philadelphia.
Eagles fans.
That's true. You're right.
They became Eagles
Everyone
fans.
hated the Eagles and never wanted them to win anything until last year.
And like we said,
maybe the Patriots won too.
On Monday morning, the rest of the country had to take the walk of shame from being with the Eagles fans to then back to their own life. Like, oh my God, did I sleep with the Eagles fans last night?
Michael Strahan.
I think I did.
Oh, yeah,
oh my goodness, that's a mistake. Don't tell anybody, please.
And I think the other thing that kind of came in, we're talking about what was the 7th game. I mean, it becomes kind of clear. It's that Chargers game because it was pretty evident. It came together at the last minute. I mean, clearly they were planning for the Chiefs to have 6 games, and then on top of that, like he said, every network wants their maximum that they can get of Chiefs games. So Chiefs have 2 on Monday Night Football.
Yep.
Did they have 3 Sunday Night Football games? Is that?
Let me check really quickly. I can pull it up for you.
1. They have 2. They have 3.
So it's 2 Monday nights, 3 Sunday nights, an Amazon game, and there's your 6 right there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what sometimes it could be maybe Monday Night Football gets the 3, maybe Sunday Night Football gets the 3. Next year it might be the other way around. I mean, maybe it'll be Chiefs get 3 Monday Night Football games and it's 2 Sunday night games, but those networks right there, I mean, get what they want, and then Amazon getting their Thursday night game, which, I mean, if you're the Chiefs, I think it's kind of a helpful thing that your Thursday night game counts as that Christmas Day game by volunteering for Christmas Day. I mean, you're getting your Thursday night requirement on Amazon met, so now you don't have to play them some random Thursday.
You're sharing the short week with 3 other more teams than just the one you're playing.
And you're guaranteed in that game of playing a team. In this case, you're guaranteed of playing a team that has the same short rest than you do.
Yep.
But you get a mini bye week going into week 18. Yep. And I just think, I mean, if I'm the Chiefs, that's why I'm volunteering for Christmas every single year that I can.
They do have Thanksgiving on Thursday night football or Thursday football
until
too,
the 18th game comes around. Then Christmas will be there'll be 2 games. There'll be 2 games after Christmas.
But even then, I mean, those last 3 weeks are probably not going to be flex. So
that is 2 though, because you have Christmas and Thanksgiving. Obviously, Thanksgiving's obviously on a Thursday as well.
Mm-hmm.
So you do have that. But again, that Houston game is at least Sunday night, so you get an extra 7 hours. But I don't know. That is, I guess, 2 Thursdays though.
Yeah, I mean, but and the Thanksgiving Day is a little bit different creature and everything like that. And I mean, there's always a chance you're going to play 2 Thursdays. I think the trade-off for that, for having a mini bye week going into the playoffs, essentially, I thought it helped the Chiefs last year. I mean, obviously it didn't help them in the final game of the season, but I thought that they needed rest when they needed it, and then the rest that they were able to give those players, I thought it helped at least in the divisional and the AFC Championship game.
So you said that Mike North said the quiet part out loud. We played this on Tuesday, and Tuesday or Wednesday, whichever. This is Mike North, and talking about the schedule being made. This is not from the Up and Adams podcast, but doing media, talking about the scheduling and everything, and the Chiefs as the primetime draw. The quiet part out loud. Mike North was pretty candid in talking about what goes on behind the scenes, how the sausage is made, and here he is talking about primetime and the Chiefs used as a chess piece.
Something we're wrestling with a lot, given how we've deployed the Kansas City games these last few years. You think back a couple of years ago, we played our first wild card game on a streaming service on Peacock, and everybody's like, hey, this cannot fail. Well, you want to make wild card on Peacock a thing, you put a Kansas City Chiefs game there. Mm-hmm. A couple of years ago, it was, Black Friday. You want to make Black Friday a thing, you put a Kansas City Chiefs game there. Last year, we had Netflix, first time ever broadcasting an NFL game on Christmas. You want to make Wednesday, Netflix, Christmas, NFL a thing, you put a Kansas City Chiefs game there. Like, we do need to, build other muscles. We do need to be able to go to a deeper well than just Kansas City and Dallas every year.
He said the quiet part out loud.
Yeah.
You want to make this
work?
Worried
that Mike's being a little too transparent. We might never hear from Mike again.
That's why we love Mike.
That's
though.
why. Right.
No, I agree, but I don't think Roger might.
But here's the great thing about Mike is that he's been around so long.
Yeah.
There is nothing they can do to Mike.
Yeah,
he has tenure.
Exactly.
He's got more than 10 years. No. Oh, I see what you said. But, I mean, that's the quiet part out loud. Well, we got to make Peacock playoffs work. Well, put the Chiefs there. We got to make Netflix work. Well, let's put the Chiefs there. We got to make Black Friday.
Black Friday work.
Well, let's put the Chiefs there. I mean, there's 4 different times that they have done since the Chiefs have been winning Super Bowls that we're doing something for the first time, and the Chiefs have been the one that they have put there.
Christmas night game, Chiefs are there.
Chiefs are there, yeah.
First game streaming on YouTube exclusively, Chiefs are there.
Yeah, put the Chiefs there for YouTube.
So, I mean,
how do we maximize the value of a new streamer that's going to pay specifically for one game? It's not an overall package. This is a one game. It's a one-off. You highest bidder, whatever network, one game.
And
you got the Chiefs.
And we know the Brazil game was obviously on the table because they played there last year. But it was interesting because it wasn't announced that the Chargers were going to be the opponent in that game, that they were going to be hosting that game until, was it late February or early March? I mean, it was pretty late in the process because, I mean, I can tell you from talking to people at the Super Bowl, I mean, the Chiefs were pretty much resigned that even though they wanted to play a road game internationally, they weren't going to get to because nobody wanted to give up a home game.
Yeah, right.
And then the Chargers all of a sudden are playing the Brazil game, and then it's like, well, wait a minute.
Yes,
and
Chargers are
the
smart.
Chargers were willing because they want to get the Chiefs fans out of SoFi. Yes. I mean, they're tired of playing road games at SoFi.
Chiefs fans travel. We know there's red there. Let's take it down to Brazil.
Yeah, I mean,
as long as the Chiefs are not in Australia next year. Put 2 other teams there in Australia. I think that's going to be a train wreck. We'll see. Again, they're going to be playing Saturday morning at like 11 o'clock in Australia for a Friday night game, and the whole getting your body clock ready. Your body clock is Friday at 7 or 8 o'clock, and you're playing Saturday morning.
Congratulations, Panthers, Giants.
Yeah,
I don't care who. No, they're going to send the Eagles there because of Mailata.
Probably won't.
He's Australian.
They seem
it's
to
smart if they do. By the way,
they seem to have at least at this point committed that it's going to be 2 West Coast teams that are going. So it'll be
the
Rams is one team, and then I mean it's going to be limited to whoever the Rams are playing at home that year. Maybe they will.
Got to send the Eagles and Jordan Mailata. He gets to go back home. There's tons of Eagles fans. Maybe that's why you don't send the Eagles, because there's tons of Eagles fans in Australia because they're rooting for Jordan Mailata. Hey, this guy played rugby, and look what he's doing in the NFL. It can't be too hard. NFL can't be too hard. That one of their best tackles in the entire league was a rugby player. I mean, come on, we can do that. Let's bring the NFL over here. We'll take a timeout, come back, continue rolling, talking with Matt Derrick. More's on next. If you're listening on the podcast, you don't know what's going on right now.
I forget about that.
I'm on my way.
I'll clip those out sometimes. Sometimes I'll leave them in, but I might be marking myself there.
Hanging out with Matt Derrick, Chiefs Digest 41 is the Mike podcast. Sterling and I were talking on Wednesday as he hosted the schedule release local show for the hour before the schedule was released, but we knew what the schedule was before it was officially released. And I said, I think there's a wide range of groups on this in the NFL. There is a percentage of people that are just like, I cannot freaking stand the schedule release stuff that we're talking about. It's absurd.
Oh, me.
There's a group that it's like, it's the NFL, it's football, I'm going to consume it. And then there's probably a pretty decent in the middle that are like, I'll pay attention, I'll see what's going on, see what order they're playing, and then if there's any takeaways from that. So I'm guessing
there's a third group,
okay,
which is still the I don't care until it's game week, and maybe it might not be until Red Friday they're like, oh, they're playing the Broncos this week.
So okay, yeah,
cool.
It's the third group that not only doesn't care this week, but week by week they're like, well, okay, that's fine.
It's Andy Reid.
Who do they play next
Taking
week?
it week by week.
It's the
week
the
by
Chiefs
week.
players.
There you go.
I mean, Travis Kelce was like, "Who do we play next week? With the Chargers or something?" No, you don't play the Chargers next week. So you are squarely in the group of this is absurd. The NFL somehow continues to be the story, and people are paying attention to it and talking about a schedule release.
We were talking about Mike North. He does he does a podcast with some guys up in Buffalo every single year, and I always listen to that. And then he was talking about it this year, and and going back and saying, hey, once upon a time, I mean, we all remember. I mean, I'm old enough to remember where just one day the schedule was in the newspaper and that was it. And then it was generally it's just like when the schedule was done, they just put it out. And so it was like in April and they put the schedule out. And then, what was it, about 10 years ago or so, it was kind of like, well, the schedule release is kind of taking focus from the draft and everything. So let's put it after the draft. And then it was like, oh, wait a minute. The schedule release can be our May tentpole, to give the NFL a way to capture the attention in May when it's a month that there's nothing going on. There is no other league that televises their release schedule like this. There is no other job on the planet where your work schedule is broadcast online. I mean, it is absolutely insane. And I'm not begrudging anybody out there who watches and enjoys it, because you know what? We all watch and enjoy different things. If I wasn't covering it, I wouldn't be watching it because it's just not my jam. There's things that I enjoy that I'm sure that people who are watching the release, and like I said, don't begrudge them, because some of them were watching my YouTube channel, and I appreciate that because I get paid for that. So I'm all down with that. It's just not my jam. But the NFL, I mean, turning it into, you got to go on the Good Morning America and release some games, and then you got to do it on the CBS Morning Show, and then Good Morning Football, and then Kay Adams has got something, and you're doing all of this. I mean, we are one step away from the NFL bidding out this event, taking it to like Lambeau Field,
having a whole TV event,
having a Katy Perry concert, and then like half an hour in,
Left Shark shows up,
Paul Rudd comes out and is just like,
okay, well, now I would watch a Paul Rudd go.
Now I'm in.
Oh, I got you the Week 11 schedule right here.
Woo! Week 11 in the house.
And
what's up?
Week 11 starts out with
what's up? Week 11ers?
Thursday night.
Yeah.
The Cleveland Browns at the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, Cleveland, Jacksonville. Where you at? Duval. Dog pound. Let me hear you.
Yeah, and then you got. You got, I don't know, Shabuzi playing in the background or something. And
why not? Why not?
I I guess the pushback
whoa! This is the
pushback
guy.
because I want to fight.
All you
I
did was
fight.
you just hated. You were just all over. This is the dumbest thing ever. While I get ready to host this show tonight,
I didn't say that.
Okay, well maybe I'm putting words in your mouth, but I think I was close,
especially on air.
Oh, sorry, that was a break. Sorry, go ahead.
No, but to me, what it comes down to is it overblown? Is it a lot of at times nonsense? Sure. But there are parts that I do enjoy. I actually like some of the leaks because then you have something to talk about all day. It's not just all at once because that is a little overwhelming. If it's like the NCAA bracket, right? It's great how they do it. It's an hour, but that's only 68 teams, and you're only really setting up the first game.
You get 32 games.
You have 32 teams.
It was a lot better when it used to be half an hour, though.
It kind of is a half hour, really.
It was terrible when it was 2 hours.
Yeah, then
at the end of the first hour, it was already leaked.
They took
actually had
notes.
the bracket leaked.
But this is somewhat fun because it's 18 weeks, 17 games, 32 teams, and so when you have some of the leaks, it makes it more palatable, a little easier to digest. And I guess for me too, it's also enjoyable to find out when's the bye. What's the schedule look like? How many primetime games does Kansas City have? What's the travel schedule look like? Can I make it to the Titans game in Nashville? Am I able to go? Because the answer is no.
4 days before Christmas.
The answer is no because of Christmas. But
although I'll be in Louisville at that time, so maybe I'll make.
So
the
maybe
trip
you
down
might
there.
make the trip.
Yeah,
So
maybe I just drive the 2 hours down south.
Or like the Colts, which I also can't do because it's 4 days before Thanksgiving. Like what are the drivable, easy games to go to? Which games can I take a family to if I want to go to a road game? So I there are aspects of the schedule release that I really enjoy. Is it over the top? Sure, but at the same token, kind of like you, I'm not gonna begrudge it for digging it because.
I begrudge the league for doing this, but I don't begrudge
why would
people.
you? Because they're making money, and they're making you money.
Like I said, I like money, so that's
my
cool
point. So why
like
would you?
That's
kind of my point.
They have turned something that is not an event into an event,
and it's helping you.
I mean, it's a non-event.
But Matt, it's helping you.
I mean, but how would you feel? I mean, because this is what we're basically doing. What if okay, we're gonna post your work schedule. We're going to post Sterling's work schedule.
I post my work schedule every week, 10 to 2.
But
you know where I'm going to be.
Let's say he's not working 10 to 2. Let's say he's got he's got.
I do have a lot.
He's got a lot of things.
So you're saying let's just say how it works. So let's just say Sterling isn't just working 10 to 2. Okay.
So Monday, Chad's going to come on the Border Patrol and say, "Hey, Sterling's working, 10 to 2 today." Well, I guess it'll be next week.
No one cares.
No.
The Chiefs
I don't
important.
care when anybody plays except the Chiefs. I mean,
do you like the schedule release videos?
Everything. Everybody but the Chargers was terrible this year. For the most part.
I didn't know.
Chargers are always fine.
Colts was pretty good.
The one that they deleted?
The one that they deleted?
That was pretty good.
And then sent an apology to Tyreek Hill?
And Tyreek was basically saying, I don't know why this was funny. According to Drew Rosenhaus, at least.
But also, why are they apologizing to Tyreek? Tyreek Hill wasn't getting arrested. A dolphin wearing a Tyreek Hill.
Yes.
Tyreek Hill isn't a literal dolphin.
Yes.
They didn't have it wasn't the likeness
of
Tyreek Hill.
It was the
Coast Guard
the
or whatever.
Coast Guard.
But it was a dolphin.
Bills were good.
I will say this.
Chiefs were solid with the.
I like the Cash Cab TV show back in the day.
I just was in the demographic for that one. I wasn't in the demographic for that one, I guess.
I like
the thing that was funny about the Colts one though was just that to me it wasn't the Tyreek thing. Although I will say the Tyreek, I mean, hey, if you don't get arrested multiple times, people aren't going to make that joke. But the thing about that is that, I mean, it looks so terrible. I mean,
it was awful.
They were using the same concept as the Chargers.
Yes.
Except the Chargers was incredibly well done and professional, and the Colts version looked like it was done on an Atari 2600.
And then the Jags were
the worst.
And the Jags were the AI. The Jags used AI to do theirs.
Bills used AI. Allen Iverson, and it was very clever.
That was good.
Once again, I generally hate the schedule release video, so I'm going to be a hater on all of them. I mean, the only one I always Chargers are usually nailed.
Chargers are usually pretty
Titans
good.
is pretty good because
I'm not a Minecraft fan, so I didn't make it to the Chargers one.
I didn't get the anime thing last year, but I at least appreciate the production values with it because they put a ton of effort into it.
Yeah.
And as Kay said this year, I mean, other teams can copy the concept, but they can't do it as well as the Chargers do.
The Titans are always the past couple with them going to Nashville and asking people what team are they playing.
Oh, I mean,
and they had no idea any of these teams you're playing. That's just the NFL logo, and it's like the Browns. It's very clever. But this year was also good. If you watch a lot of GSN, which I do, they had Schedule Rizzy instead of Sky Rizzy.
I did like
the
that
medicine one. So
that was good.
That was my point. The Titans it was a minute and a half. I like short, sweet, to the point. Schedule Rizzy,
and
phenomenal.
The symptoms.
Yes, for
good.
Each team.
Yes, symptoms were good
like
for each team. I like that. What was the nausea one? Was that the Cowboys?
It may have been the Cowboys.
Or the Chiefs, maybe?
It was
the Chiefs might have been nausea.
Very
fatigue.
clever.
No, the Chiefs, it was fatigue.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very clever.
It was good. I like that.
They had a couple of moments. Although,
So without the schedule release, Matt, you don't get these semi-clever teams.
Something tells me that Matt's okay with that exchange.
I don't. I'm perfectly fine because I'll tell you what. I mean, I watched the Chargers schedule. I did watch the Titans one. I watched the Chiefs one, and then it was like, okay, I need to be entertained. So I went back and watched the Chargers again from 23.
That's funny.
I mean,
which was maybe the best one.
That was the best one.
The
24 was
Bengals-
good. I mean, the 24 was good too.
Bengals
They should
were
just
so
do that
buns.
every single year.
You can tell that the Bengals have no money by watching their schedule release. Like, it's just hilarious how you look at all these other ones, then you see Cincinnati's, and even their fans are like, well, yeah, bleep.
That was what tipped you off there?
Well,
that they had no money?
But, like, even their fans are like, well, if they're doing this, no chance we can keep Trey Hendrickson.
Pretty good.
We can't pay Trey Hendrickson. We can't even do this.
For the Chiefs specific, like the Colts, when they took their video down, they asked their junior cheerleaders which team. They did the Titans, man on the street. But they asked the junior cheerleaders. So these are, elementary school girls.
They basically sold the Titans concept.
They totally did.
They just like found the first group of people that they could find and sold the Titans concept.
Yep, we've got to get something out there because we are now putting out an apology and everything. And so these younger girls are like, they showed the Pittsburgh Steelers and like diamonds. And then the Titans were like Team Fire. And then it showed the Chiefs and one of the girls goes, oh, that's who Taylor Swift's boyfriend Travis Kelce plays for. It was like the only one that it was like, I know that team. I can't even tell you the team name, but that's Taylor Swift's boyfriend Travis Kelce plays for that team. That's what I know.
I will make one quick counterpoint to Sterling, which is that, I mean, all the things you're talking about that you enjoy about, the leaks and then getting to talk about which games you go to, throughout the, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and everything. Imagine this. Imagine instead on Monday at like 11:30, I handed you the entire schedule, and you were like able to spend your lunchtime and thinking about, oh, hey, there's a game I could go to. This would be done. And then you would have like another 2.5 days to enjoy your life and go outside and do anything you want to. You can play some volleyball. You can drink some beer. You can go to Busch Stadium.
Do that either way. I don't understand how there's not much of a difference. What's the difference?
What's the difference?
For him, yeah, for Sterling, that's what he's doing anyway, even with the schedule in his hand or watching the schedule release. We need to take a timeout. We'll come back on the other side. Pro Football Focus put out the most underrated players for every team in the NFL. And we'll just ask what you guys think the answer is for, obviously, the Falcons. We'll take a timeout, come back, more Zone next. about 12:05 or so, former Chiefs, former Royals general manager. Chiefs underrated player. Pro Football Focus put that out this morning, and just wondering what you guys would guess as to who they list as the most underrated Kansas City Chiefy. Who wants to go first?
Matt, you go first.
Oh, Sterling, I was going to make you go first.
Oh, son of a gun.
Dylan, what say you?
I'll go for Sterling. There's two names that are popping in. I'm going to go with Leo Chanel.
You say?
That's a good call. I was actually thinking in the linebacker room, I was almost going to say Drew Tranquill, but I'm going to go with most underrated or most unsung. Underrated is almost George Karlaftis. Most unsung.
That's not what we asked.
Might be Mike Dana.
Yeah, it was most underrated, though, so was the specific question. Nice category you created, though. Dylan?
I'll go George Karlaftis.
Leo Chanel.
Oh, nice.
Was listed as the most underrated.
What about most unsung?
That's tomorrow.
Greg Ostertag for some reason. That's weird.
Releasing that one. Chanel is a very specific role in Spags' defense, operating as an early down run defending specialist and playing just 26% of the team's possible third and fourth down snaps since 23. Chanel has thrived in the early down role, earning the third best PFF run defense grade at his position since 23, behind only Bobby Wagner and Fred Warner. So.
Yeah, I kind of was just thinking of guys that PFF loves.
Yes, that's
PFF loves.
So that's why Leo popped in my head. I was leaning towards Noah Gray until I was like, okay, who does PFF love?
Yeah, they love themselves some Leo
they do love some Leo.
Which is interesting because I've noticed even in his coverage grade on PFF, it's graded relatively high. But I think when you watch the tape or you watch, and I'm not trying to take a shot on Leo, but I think that's why he's not seeing the field, the Drew Tranquill amount of snaps, and why he's been primarily a run guy. I don't know. Leo's one guy that I think is really good that PFF sometimes overvalues his coverage, and maybe I'm wrong. Because if his coverage was great, wouldn't we see him more?
I mean, I can't argue with you, but
it's probably why they put him in the early downs.
Sure.
So
fewer opportunities there.
Yeah.
I bet Leo doesn't care about schedule release day. I think he just wants to have the schedule handed to him and then put it away and then week at a time.
Nameless, faceless opponent.
That's right. Leo thinks back to every single game, the highlight of his games, each time there's an opponent that's released. Thank you, Matt. We'll talk with Dayton Moore here. That conversation coming up next. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. A couple more hours to go today and a number of hours away from getting the celebration started for the weekend. 40-year anniversary of the 85 World Series and somehow the 10-year anniversary of the 2015 World Series. Joining us now, a man who was a huge part of constructing that in history here in Kansas City. It's Dayton Moore joining us here in the zone. Dayton, how are you, sir?
Great. How you doing today?
I am doing just fine. I'm sitting here with myself wondering how it's been 10 years for you. Can you believe it's a decade now since the entire city and all of Royals fans celebrated there in New York?
Well, you know what? It's baseball moves fast, life moves fast, and but it is so rewarding just to be in the company of all these players, not only our guys from 2015 and but also the 85 team, and we grew up pulling for them. The Royals were my boyhood team, like they were so many, and of course the Royals were such an easy organization to root for because back in the 80s they were the model organization in baseball. They really were. John Schuerholz had built just a model organization, and of course, when we came to Kansas City in 2006, that was our goal as well, to create a model organization and a place where people would love to work, where we could use our platform to inspire young people to follow baseball and to do good in the community. And the players ultimately were the source of inspiration for all that. And so we look back and we're very, very proud. And of course, all those players just have great stories in their journey. And we're just so proud of them. And, I know the city is as well.
Dayton Moore is our guest. Looking back now over the time from 2006 and then, ultimately culminating in that 2015 championship, along the way, was there ever any wavering in your mind of you guys could get this done, that you could win a World Series, you could bring the trophy here to Kansas City with whatever hurdles or baseball economics that went along with it? Did you ever find yourself wavering in the confidence that, no, we stick to this, we will find a way, we're going to win a World Series here?
Well, that's a great question, and truthfully, of course, I had moments of doubts. I had moments of frustration, but one of my mentors, a guy named Jose Martinez, who was actually the first base coach of the Kansas City Royals in 1985, and in fact, he's the gentleman holding George Brett back in the pine tar incident. Jose since passed on, Cuban immigrant. But Jose Martinez reminded me early on in my journey in baseball when I was with the Atlanta Braves that you just focus on doing the right thing every single day. You have a relentless focus on the fundamentals that make teams strong, that make players productive, that make organizations successful and thriving, and you just focus on those fundamentals. And you don't need to necessarily talk about winning championships. You just talk about being committed to that process that ultimately will lead to success. And, you can't predict, what's going to happen, in winning a World Series. But what we knew we could do was just focus every single day on building a great culture. And I know a lot of people talk about culture, and sometimes people get turned off when in today's world where everybody's just laser focused on culture. But the truth of the matter is that's what we tried to do. And we just wanted leaders that were going to model the behavior that we wanted seen in others, and just very, very committed to making sure that we were, building a model organization. And the philosophy was very, very simple. And I used to tell people all the time, I love baseball. I love the Kansas City Royals, and I'm going to share that love with everybody I meet. I want everybody to, buy into what we're doing and be very transparent, and just share that love and that passion of baseball and the Royals with this community. And so we needed to kind of rekindle that fire when we came here. There was a frustrated fan base. And, we just wanted, again, just to be very transparent, share the love of baseball and the Royals with the community, the players knew that their important role in being transparent in the community and being involved in the community. And because when you do that, you're motivating the fans to follow your story, and that's what we set out to do.
You can draft good players, guys that are talented, skilled, but how do you find, and is there a way or a formula to find players that sort of find ways to win or just simply get it done in the crunch time? You know, drafting Eric Hosmer, drafting Mike Moustakas, guys that were big parts of the signing Salvi, you know, as an international free agent. Can you identify certain traits? Like when you look at Hosmer, did you know he was going to be a guy that could be sort of the charisma and the face and sort of the heartbeat of an organization and a team that would win the World Series? Or Moustakas that would seem sort of like a, you know, kind of a tough SOB that wasn't going to take anything from anybody.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, that's a great question, and that is the main question that should be asked of every evaluator, every general manager, everybody who has decision-making responsibilities in the game of baseball, because the data, anybody can figure out the data. The data tells you the story. Everybody can learn the data. They can learn that process. You don't have to be marinated in numbers to learn what numbers say. But I do believe you have to be marinated in scouting and player development to really kind of understand that feel and to be able to evaluate the heart of a player, we like to say. And, you know, it's because it's not very difficult to evaluate talent. You've seen a lot of athletes. You know who can run fast. You know who throws the ball hard. You know who can hit the ball far. You can pretty much evaluate the tools and compare people based on their tools. What's the most difficult process is who's going to be a winner, who's going to get their hits and have their good at bats when the game is on the line, who's going to be able to execute pitches when players are, when the bases are full in RBI situations. Who's going to be able to have the intellect to pitch around guys at times and understand the feel of the game, and who's going to be a great teammate. Those are the things that don't show up in the data. They don't show up in the numbers, and so you have to have people that understand that. And I always felt that the scouts and the evaluators that have good makeup and have those types of qualities in themselves can see those qualities in other people. If you don't have those qualities, if you don't believe in those qualities, you're not going to see them in others. And but yeah, I mean, when you look at those guys, I mean, Mike Moustakas, elite competitor, Eric Hosmer, elite competitor, very charismatic. You know, one of the things that I always talk about with Haas is, there's very few leaders that say the right thing at the right time. You'll have a lot of them that will, they'll say the right thing, it comes out good, but the timing's not right. Or, the timing's perfect, but the words just don't resonate or come out right. And Haas always had that ability to say the right thing at the right time. And, he's a unique leader, and, without him, there's no doubt in my mind, we couldn't have accomplished what we accomplished, and just rubbed off on so many other people as well. But there were so many guys you mentioned. I mean, people ask me all the time who the leaders are of a team. Well, if you have 26 guys in the clubhouse, you need 26 men to lead at some level throughout 162 games.
That makes sense, yeah. And with a leader like Hosmer, I mean, it's why you don't trade him for Altuve, I mean, it's why you
yeah, I forgot I said that. I was at the event last night, and everybody was coming up to me on that. And, but I didn't even – I remember it, Haas asked the question, I think, in the podcast, and or somebody did. And, I mean, it just I remember – that and I never really reflected back on that decision, but it just never crossed my mind because we were just so committed to those guys. And the reason we were is because we knew without a doubt they were committed collectively to winning the championship in Kansas City, and there was no wavering in their belief, and we weren't going to break that up for 1 minute.
Dayton Moore is our guest. So those trades, it's interesting, that sort of unwavering, unflinching belief that this was the group to get it done. But you also had guys coming up that Royals fans were so excited about and were going to add on to that. But you guys make a decision that you're going to trade for James Shields and Wade Davis, and we talk about trades that hurt, right? You got to make a trade that hurts sometimes if you want to get over the top, and trade somebody away that you think can be special. And that was an incredible risk, Dayton, because if Will Myers goes on to be, an MVP caliber player, and James Shields and Wade Davis are okay, it's going to be looked back and like, wow, what could have happened if you'd have kept Will Myers? But how tough was it to finalize that deal, sign the dotted line, whatever the last parts are, to officially make that trade and sort of go down the road of how do we get over the hump, and will it take this number one prospect to get us over the hump to try to win a World Series?
Well, that was a very interesting time in our front office because it created some division during that process, and when we ultimately made that trade. I mean, there was division in our front office because the truth of the matter is the majority of the individuals did not want to do that deal, and we believed, and I had to press that leadership button, and I just felt that. For Eric Hosmer and Salvador Perez, Lorenzo Cain, and Alcides Escobar, and Mike Moustakas, and even Alex Gordon and Billy Butler to become the championship caliber players that we needed them to be, that was the core that we needed. We had to have pitching, and that was the plan all along. We wanted young position players and to learn to win together, play 2 to 4 years every day at the major league level, become consistent producers, and then we need to be able to get veteran pitching around them. It's the same formula the Cubs used in their 2016 championship. That's how they built their team in that process. And so that's what we had to do, and we had to take advantage of the pitching talent that was available to us. We understood our limitations as a small market. We couldn't go out and sign major league top free agents like the Cubs could in some of those big markets. We had to do it through trades. And the truth of the matter is, if Will Myers would have been in the major leagues and progressing, the way that the other guys were, we would have, and Mike Moustakas or Hosmer or Salvador Perez or Cain or Escobar would have been in the minor leagues, we would have probably had to move them to acquire major league pitching talent. And so it was just the timing of it was what it was. And, Will Myers went on to win Rookie of the Year. He had a great major league career. And, just proud of, what he did as well. But that's just a decision that we had to do. We had to complement the team with veteran pitching if we were going to win.
Did you set Dayton Moore's our guest? We've talked about, Moneyball, people look at it and say, well, it's on base percentage. And really it's just finding an inefficiency in the market. Where can you take advantage, whether it's monetarily or finding an area that isn't tapped into? And did you guys set out to say, we're going to build the best bullpen that's out there. We're going to make this a 5 or 6 inning game. Did that sort of come together and organically come that way, or was that a plan of people are paying so much money for starting pitching and they're kind of missing the forest for the trees that you can have an ace in the 6th, the 7th, the 8th, and the 9th. You can get 4 innings of an ace if you put together the what were viewed at the time less valuable pieces in the bullpen.
Well said. I mean, there really is the truth of the matter. And all those years in Atlanta, we had that great starting pitching, and we always failed to put together a bullpen. And so, that was kind of, John Schuerholz's directive to me and our staff at the time was bullpen, bullpen, bullpen. And so because of the inefficiencies of what we were experiencing in Atlanta, it prepared me personally to just study bullpens and how we could, shorten games and acquire that talent. And, of course, it was less expensive at the time. Octavio Dotel, the late Octavio Dotel, was one of the first free agents we ever signed here. We wanted to build from the back end. We wanted to shorten games. We acquired Joaquin Soria in the Rule 5 draft, and Louis Medina was in the right place at the right time, scouting Mexico, and discovered Joaquin Soria pitching great. And we brought him in, and he was mentored by Dotel. And then, of course, Soria mentored others, and Greg Holland, and Jonathan Broxton, who we brought in, who was a very good closer. At the time, we moved Kelvin Herrera, into the bullpen. And when we made the Davis and Shields trade, I mean, Jimmy Fergosi Jr., he had seen Wade Davis dominate in the bullpen when he was in Tampa. Now, we acquired Wade Davis as a starter. We wanted him to start, but we also knew that he could be very dominant in the back end, of the bullpen. And of course, Luke Hoshaver became a dominant bullpen piece. Jim Fergosi Jr., the same scout that, recommended Wade Davis for the bullpen role. Recommended Ryan Matson after I think Ryan sat out for 2 or 3 years, hadn't pitched. Jimmy had signed him when he was with the Phillies. He called me one afternoon on Christmas break, and he said, "Hey, look, can you do me a favor?" And I said, "What do you got?" And he said, "Let's bring in Matson." I said, "Absolutely, whatever you think," because we'd always give our veteran scouts 1 or 2 just free passes. They could recommend whoever they wanted, and we would bring him in, no questions asked. And they didn't have to validate any. It was just, hey, their judgment. The veteran guys, the guys that had proven track records of signing major league talent, and Jim Fergosi Jr. was one of those guys. And Jimmy said, "I want to bring in Matson." And I said, "Okay, let's bring him in." And, he was as effective force as anybody.
Dayton Moore is our guest, and that's interesting because I was thinking, as we were talking about 2015, and last year we got to celebrate the 2014 team, and I remember after Game 7, and while, massive disappointment, I remember sitting back and waking up the next day disappointed, but thinking, man, I didn't think I would ever be able to experience that in my life. Growing up a 5-year-old when the Royals won the World Series in '85, like to experience it as an adult. So there was a level of satisfaction for me. Not that I didn't want the team to win a World Series, but that I just simply got to experience and live through that. How quickly for you do you guys put that behind you? Maybe not ever get over it, but put it behind you, sit down, and you and Gene and whoever, and start to immediately look at the next group of players for 2015. Rios and Morales and bringing in Volquez and Chris Young. You mentioned Madsen and Franklin Morales. I mean, just
right.
a couple Moraleses that you guys went out and got. How quickly do you go, you know what, we lost Game 7, but we're getting ready for 2015 now because we're going to go and win it all next year?
Well, immediately. I mean, I remember driving home after the Game 7 loss, and Gene Watson called me and he said, "Hey, look, he said, hey, Chief, look, I just want to congratulate you on a great year, and this was outstanding." And I was furious. And I really kind of erupted emotionally, which I regret. I try to stay very composed, and I was just so disappointed. I said, like, what? For what? What did we accomplish? We didn't accomplish anything. We lost the World Series. We were better than the San Francisco Giants in my belief. And we went to work immediately. The next day they had a little rally at the ballpark, which was very nice, and our fans came out and very supportive and encouraging. And it wasn't planned, but after that meeting, I got all of our guys together, said, "We're meeting, we're going to work right after this. Get everybody together and let's start planning." And I was always a great fan of Kendrys Morales. I loved Alex Rios. And those 2 veteran guys were important for us. Chris Young actually was one of the first players that we had made an offer to in the off season, and it kind of fell through. And then we were fortunate to sign him late. Scott Sharp really did an amazing job of staying focused on CY. And then Edison Volquez was somebody that I was at a charity event a year before the signing of him in the Dominican Republic. Tony Pena Sr. put on an event in La Romana, and Edison and I were kind of in the same group and doing different things, helping some special needs kids. And we got to know each other and talk a lot. And so I told him at that time, I said, "Look, we're going to make you a Royal someday." And he became a free agent. We signed him quickly. And, he was huge. I mean, you talk about somebody who just great heart. And then he did a lot really to just kind of continued to mold and shape Giordano Ventura as well. And, that's something that's not talked a lot about. But, Eddie was just, big support for Giordano. And, he's, what do you say about Giordano? I mean, he was really kind of a lot of the heart and soul. I mean, just somebody who was a really fearless, great competitor and scared of nothing. And, it was really just kind of the makeup of the entire team.
Yeah, and obviously a big reason as to why this team was able to win the World Series, his pitching, and you mentioned sort of his mentality that no doubt will be missed and continues to be missed around here. Dayton Moore is our guest. We will take a timeout. Dayton gracious enough to hang out with us a little bit more. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. And Dayton, I do want to talk about what it's like to be a GM watching these games. You put the team together, and then it's sort of out of your hands. What happens while you're watching these games? We'll pick Dayton Moore's brain about that coming up next.
Take the show with you by listening live on 810WHB.com, in the 810 mobile app, or by subscribing to The Zone wherever you get your podcasts.
Men, is good enough really what you want with your sex life? This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if erectile dysfunction is making a bad bedroom experience for you and your partner, you should call us, because you want your intimacy to be fantastic, both for you and the one you love. At Heartland Men's Health, our treatments have success rates of well over 90%. And because we're a medical practice focused on men's sexual health, we can offer many treatment options and even combine treatments to find the right one for you. Which means if you're like most of our patients, we can likely get you performing like you haven't in years. So make an appointment and make a change from good enough to really good. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600. Or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices to serve you. Heartland Men's Health, a Promenic restorative health practice.
Storm season is in full swing. Hey, it's Garen with Shamrock Roofing and Construction. When the storms hit, we are ready to help you get that roof repaired or replaced. Inspections are free and take only 10 minutes. One call does it all at Shamrock Roofing and Construction. Visit shamrockroofer.com today.
Listen up, Kansas City. If you're looking for bold flavors and crave-worthy classics, you've come to the right place. At Red Door Wood-Fired Grill, we do things right. Scratch kitchen menu, handcrafted cocktails, and wood-fired perfection on every plate. Whether you're here for our fan-favorite pretzel bite, $6 Burger Mondays, or our mouth-watering jalapeno fried chicken, there's only one thing left to do. With 6 KC locations, your wood-fired favorites are always close by. Find yours at reddoorgrill.com and get in here.
The all-new Robert Brogdon's Olathe Kia is here with a big new showroom, big service center, and big deals on new Kias like the Sorrento, Telluride, Carnival, and Seltos. Beat the price increases and save big time. Visit OlatheKia.com.
It's the final days of Amini's Beat the Tariffs Memorial Day sale, so don't miss out. Get what you always wanted for your home. Save big on outdoor furniture, pinball, arcade games, theater seating, bar stools, saunas, and so much more. Amini's has huge in-stock inventory and immediate delivery. Everything you need is at the store. Plus, take advantage of 72-month no-interest financing. I shop at Amini's for my family, and let me tell you, there has never been a better time than right now. Sale ends May 26th. Amini's, 105th and Metcalf, or online at aminis.com.
Airman here for Midwest Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Several companies in our industry are now owned by out-of-town interests. There's nothing wrong with people trying to make a profit on their investment, but Midwest is a family-owned business, not an investment. More than a bottom line, it's our living. Midwest and Lennox are now offering up to $2,000 in rebates on high-efficiency home comfort systems. But families in this area are getting hurt by higher prices, up to 30% in many cases. So you may opt for up to a $1,600 rebate and 0% 60-month financing with approved credit on these qualifying Lennox systems. You have many choices, so we intend to meet the highest industry standard of all, yours. Dial 943-8787 or go to MidwestHeating.com for details. As many of your neighbors have for the past 7 decades, trust your air to the best, Midwest. Midwest Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
This is Justin Ruby with IP Pathways. From cloud solutions to IT consulting, we provide customized services to meet your business needs. Join the many organizations that trust IP Pathways to guide their IT forward. Schedule a meeting at ippathways.com.
Hey, it's Garen again with Shamrock Roofing and Construction. We've been in business for over 40 years, and we're here for you when the storms hit. Thank you for making us a part of your community. And when it's time, just one call does it all at Shamrock Roofing and Construction. Visit shamrockroofer.com today.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My car is making this noise. Sometimes it's like doot doot, and sometimes it's like grrr.
Do you have a dash light on?
Oh yeah.
Then we don't have to listen for clues. With the free Fix Finder service, we can read a check engine, ABS, or maintenance light to find the likely fix and even recommend a local shop if you need one.
So you don't need to hear the grrr.
Not with Fix Finder. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
All right, welcome back here in the zone right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you heading up until 2 o'clock. We continue our conversation with Dayton Moore. And Dayton, when we left off, I had mentioned that I wanted to pick your brain as to what takes place during the game. So how do you take in the game? Like, what are you doing in in the eighth inning in Houston in Game 4 of the
you know what I was doing?
What were you doing?
I was in the clubhouse in Houston, prior to that, and we were down like 4 or 5 runs or whatever it was, and it was actually start talking about when we were going to have organizational meetings.
Wow.
And because that's what, look, as a front office, I've always told our people, it is our responsibility to always think worst case scenario. We always got to be planning for worst case scenario. And I'd always reminded, Ned or Trey Hillman or Buddy Bell or Mike Matheny and the coaching staff, it's your job to think best case scenario. You always believe, you always make do with what you have, you always instill confidence that the team can win and overachieve and reach their ceiling, and whatever happens, we're going to overcome this particular situation. You have to always think best case scenario. And we will do our best as a front office to think worst case scenario. And we're going to hope for the best too. But, I always felt that was kind of our role. And if we want the players and the coaches just to focus on today and get the most out of each and every day. It is our responsibility, the front office, to think for the future. Let's prepare for the future. Let them focus on today. And so at that particular moment, I was looking, okay, we're going to have organizational meetings. I think I might have been sitting with Gene Watson and Jason Kendall. And next thing you know, we started going and we started getting hit after hit, and kept the line moving, and the grit and the toughness of this group was on full display. And, they came back and won the game. And then obviously we came back to Kansas City, wrapped it up, and kept cruising.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's that inning was just unbelievable. At that point, I'm like, they're winning it. This team is going to win the World Series after that, from, and Rios and Escobar and Zobrist and that acquisition, and Kane and Hosmer and Morales that bounces off Correa's glove. And it's just like, even Drew Butera with an amazing, drawing that walk in that at bat.
That's right.
Yeah, before Alex Gordon grounds out and ultimately gives the Royals the lead at that point. Like, just phenomenal game. Dayton Moore, go ahead.
No, you mentioned, but you mentioned Alex Gordon, and Alex really, he's really kind of just the steadiness and the example and just the commitment level that Alex Gordon had really kind of just exemplifies who this group was. And, Alex never complained. He never, ever made an excuse. He went through a lot of tough times as we were building this organization. And, Alex could have, asked for a trade. He could have, made some things a little difficult, as sometimes players do, star caliber players, but not Alex. I mean, he was as committed to this community and committed to the Kansas City Royals and this team and this mission as anybody. And to have him as one of the pillars in that clubhouse made all the difference, gave me personally so much confidence as a general manager to continue to believe. And so, Alex is just an amazing part of Royals history, and forever thankful for, his commitment to the Royals.
Did you know it was gone when he hit it in the bottom of the ninth on Familia? When he connected, did you go, that's gone?
No, because I tell you what, I've seen a lot of balls hit at Kauffman Stadium, and
That's
you just
true.
never know. Some balls you
point.
think are just way gone, and someone catches them at the track. But he had that backspin on it, and the ball just kept going and going. Of course, he hit it good, and usually when you hit something good off an elite pitcher with velocity, the ball's gonna take off a little bit. But you don't see balls hit out a lot at Kauffman Stadium to that part of the ballpark, and a lot of Gordo's home runs were, to the pull side, and he'd go oppo sometimes, but I didn't know. But what I did is as I often do, I just turn and watch the player. The player's reaction a lot of times will tell you before the ball leaves the ballpark. And when I saw Gordo put his arm up, I knew the ball was obviously gone.
Yeah, it's so crazy. When he hit that, I'm just like, there's no way. Like, this team is just unbelievable. Like, so many parts of this team. I mean, somehow, Kane scores from first on a single, against the Blue Jays because of scouting and all of those little things that just, you look back and so much of how prepared, I guess, everybody was and how it all sort of came together, that it wasn't a fluke, it wasn't just random lightning in a bottle, that the players coming together, the plan of who it was. And again, like, even knowing that Batista was going to throw to second on that particular play, to have Kane running home, and maybe the loudest Kauffman has ever been. I don't know. Maybe
well, and Mike Jerschley had rehearsed that, with our guys. And, he knew that was, what they would do in that situation. And Jersch had those guys prepared. Rusty Kuntz had guys prepared, as he always does. And, it goes without saying that it was a collective group that was committed, for one cause, and that was to win for each other and win a World Series. And, of course, the great fans of Kansas City, there's nobody like them. And this environment, this sports environment that we cherish here in Kansas City, that inspires us, is real. And as I say all the time, I mean, that was really the motivating factor at the end for all of our players to be the best that they could be.
Last one for you. Dayton Moore is our guest, and just you've been very gracious with your time. But when did you, as the general manager, finally sort of get the feeling like we're going to do this. We're winning the World Series. When did that sort of feeling wash over you? Was it the last pitch from Wade Davis to Butera? Was it the Christian Colon single that gave the lead in the 12th inning of Game 5? When does that feeling wash over Dayton Moore, the GM that had such a huge part in building this?
Well, when CC got the hit, I mean, I felt really, really good, and of course, I was so happy for CC because he had battled so much, and he was a really kind of an example when we took him in the draft of the type of steady, controlled, mistake-free player that we wanted, as a middle infielder. And CC, wasn't a starter, and some people viewed him as a failed pick and what have you. But the truth of the matter, he got two of the biggest hits in Royals history, and he was somebody who was very poised and very calm, always in the moment. And we knew that about him, and we believed in who he was. And so when he got that hit, you felt great about it. And of course, it's there's so many guys, though. I mean, it's just so many different things that you think about. It was truly, like I said, a collective effort, and we couldn't have won without anybody. I mean, Gerard Dyson, who was another guy who was just a great heart player, great energy, great belief, always positive in that clubhouse every single day, no matter what his role was, and fearless. And those types of attitudes rub off, and they motivate and inspire players over 162. And, like I said, it was just a great moment. And I look at this team now, and, they've got a lot of same characteristics. And, I look at, Bobby Witt Jr. and Michael Garcia and Vinny and Massey and Izzy and of course what Chris Bubik doing right now. And I'm so happy that Lynch is performing well, and many others. And I think they're doing a great job. But in Bobby Witt Jr. and Garcia, I think they're the two of the most exciting players in all of baseball.
Mm-hmm.
And Rene Francisco and Lonnie Goldberg really deserve a lot of credit for the success of the organization during this period of time. I mean, I can't say enough about what they meant in our building. Gene Watson as well, and a lot of our scouts and coaches that were in the field. But it was their effort, Renee's efforts internationally, and Lonnie's effort domestically, and Gene's effort in the professional side. And of course, I'm proud of what JJ's doing, and Scott Sharp, and so many other people that have built the order. I mean, Mike Groupman, who started our R&D program and hired Danny Mack and others that are running those programs now. And so it's just just really proud of all those guys and watching what they're doing. And they're going to get it done again. There's no doubt in my mind.
Dayton Moore, our guest here. Dayton, thank you so much for the time. Again, congratulations, and such a big part of bringing success here to Kansas City. And I know there won't be a lack of appreciation for all the work that was put in with the Royals organization to hang some more flags out there at Kauffman Stadium. Dayton, so thank you so much. Enjoy the weekend, and we'll catch up down the road. Thank you.
Okay, guys. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.
Yeah, you do the same. There is Dayton Moore, former general manager of the Kansas City Royals and the architect of that great 2015 team, and they will be celebrating that championship team along with 1985 coming up this weekend, tonight and tomorrow. Certainly appreciate Dayton joining us. A lot of stuff to take away from that, just fascinating stuff from Dayton, and finding Hosmer and Moustakas, and not necessarily finding, but recognizing, identifying things in them that would make them winners as a part of a team, and feeling like the time was right to make the move with Will Myers to acquire James Shields and Wayne Davis. The division within the front office, that was pretty interesting, what was happening, and what's going on during that eighth inning in Game 4 down in Houston, and how he's watching that, and how the general manager experiences things. Just interesting stuff, and how this group came together in a long time building and culminating in, hanging a World Series banner there at Kauffman Stadium. We will take a timeout. We'll come back. We continue rolling here on this Friday edition. More Zone right after this.
Want to see more of The Zone? Watch the show live on the Sports Radio 810 WHB Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch.
Westwood One Sports presents this special report on the 107th PGA Championship, brought to you by Fisher Investments. Johnny Vegas not taking a step back yet in the second round at Quail Hollow Club. Vegas slept on the lead at a major for the first time in his life after a 7-under 64. He's 1 under today through 12 holes now, 8 under and leading by 2. Matthew Pavon from France is in second at 6 under. Michael Thorbjornsen, 23 years old, in just his first year on the PGA Tour, joining him at 6 under with a birdie at 14. At 5 under, Max Homa, Aaron Rye, and Ryan Gerard. Homa fired a 7 under 64 today after a 73 on Thursday. Among the top 24 players on the leaderboard, only 3 have won major titles. 2-time U.S. Open champ Bryson DeChambeau, also Matt Fitzpatrick and Keegan Bradley, all 3 under and tied for 13th. I'm Ted Emmerich, Westwood One Sports.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So, then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Say I Do in Ozark at the Venue at the Farm just outside of Branson and Springfield off 65 and State Highway EE. This romantic, intimate venue reflects nature's beauty and overlooks the family-owned Wheeler Garden, a beautiful backdrop for any wedding, celebration, family reunion for groups up to 100. And for a family vacation or golf and fishing trip, stay at our farmhouse Airbnb. Simple, affordable, memorable. It's all on our website, venueatthefarm.com.
You bring the hustle during the day, so why let bad sleep bench you at night? If snoring or sleep apnea is keeping you on the sidelines, it's time to make a move. At Healthy Sleep Midwest, they help you ditch the CPAP with a custom 3D printed oral appliance. Quiet, comfortable, and often covered by insurance. Score better sleep, more energy, and real recovery. No hoses, no hassle. Healthy Sleep Midwest, because champions recover off the field too. Visit HealthySleepMidwest.com to schedule your free consultation today.
As a paramedic, do you recommend seatbelts?
I'm definitely an advocate for seatbelts.
Why?
When you're in a wreck, the seatbelt immediately will lock you in place and hold you exactly where you are. And if the vehicle rolls, spins, or just sustains a lot of force, you're going to stay right where you are, protected and cushioned. That's how they're designed.
But it's my choice if I wear one. You can't make me.
It's your decision, but you're going to see me if you decide to not wear your seatbelt, and it might not be a good situation for you.
Always buckle up. A message from the Kansas Department of Transportation and your local law enforcement community.
Worried about tariffs pushing interest rates higher? Now is the time to call Cap One Lending and lock in your low fixed rate in the 5s. Thinking of buying a home? We've got you covered. Need cash for renovations or paying off high interest credit cards? No problem. Call 816-905-1111. That's 905-1111 and get approved the same day. With our advanced technology, your loan will be ready to close in 10 days or less. Secure your low fixed rate in the 5s now. Here's the best part. If rates go down, you're protected with our exclusive Cap One Lending Streamline program. Eliminate the worry. Lock your rate today and take control of your financial future. Call 816-905-1111. That's 905-1111, or go to CapOneLending.com.
Cap One Lending, making your dreams a reality is what we do.
Cap One Lending, a Kansas licensed mortgage company, license number MC0026341, and MLS Missouri license 2.
Jason Anderson, Sterling Holmes, Dylan Michaels heading up until 2 o'clock. Thank you to Dayton Moore. Talking about this celebration coming up this weekend. Last night, the gala. Yesterday, they had the press conference with Moustakis, and they had Dayton Moore and Daryl Motley and George Brett, and then the huge gala last night. And, of course, tonight, celebrating the George Brett and Brett Saberhagen bobblehead. That's the giveaway tonight, and celebrating the 1985 World Series champions. They have said to make sure you're in the stadium or in your seats by 5:50. Look at this thing right behind you.
Oh, my
look at that
gosh.
thing right there.
That is the...
Is that a turkey vulture?
Yeah, that thing is terrifying.
Yeah, it's very terrifying. It looks like it's Deadpool with the face.
Yeah, let that thing in. That thing is huge.
Did you say let the thing in?
Yeah, let the thing in here.
No, let's not. I'm good with...
Oh, my gosh. That is the largest bird I have seen this close.
Oh, yeah? Really? Well, how about this one?
Yeah, that bird's still bigger. Dude, that thing's coming closer.
Yeah, well, it's...
I've never seen this bird
want you
before.
to see how much... Now it's just looking in at us. Now it's staring at you. This is the bird, so I've heard New Day talking about it.
This is like
in the mornings.
This is a murderous-looking bird.
Jake and Steven were talking about it, and apparently he was a big fan of Jesse Newell yesterday.
Oh my gosh.
But I didn't see it. I had heard them talking about it, and now we see that this huge...
Turkey buzzard?
Turkey vulture... I mean...
I think it's a buzzard, dude.
That is
an... turkey vulture, yeah,
That is an ugly-looking thing, too.
Whoa, be nice, man.
It's pretty smart. It knows exactly where to stand, so it's not on camera because that pillar on the door is blocking it. But I got it on the stream here for folks.
Thing.
So you do have it on the camera?
I do. I got the backside, and it kind of sticks out here.
That thing is ugly as sin, man.
We'll look around the corner.
Like the Yak Woman. You ever seen the Yak Woman? Hell of a cook. Ugly as sin. But my goodness,
The
dude, I've never seen
only
something like that.
vocalizations of said bird are grunts or low hisses.
Yeah, I can make... I'm telling you, that is a awful looking bird.
It has very...
Looks like it looks like it's wearing a leather face.
Yeah, it's
looks like his face is wearing... that bird is wearing the face of another bird. That bird has killed a bird, ripped his face off, put it on his face.
Yeah, that is...
That's what that is.
Hangs out of the Bates Motel.
My goodness. Now it's just staring in here.
Yeah, I'm...
People are probably enthralled by this, but I can't...
No one cares, but
They care.
You can see it on stream here.
Terrified.
My goodness, this thing is...
I mean, this is a big-ass bird. Like, this is a big
There we go.
It's a bad...
bird.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, now it moved over into the camera shot. It's like, hold on, you need me to slide to my left a little bit?
We need to talk a little quieter and more like Morgan Freeman or someone on planet Earth. Hang on.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, oh, my goodness, yeah, well. Oh, it almost fell. It almost fell. It's just walking on the deck.
The bird is walking across the deck right now.
Well, that's Australia.
That's a David
but-
Afferty. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a different one.
I'm still going to do it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, so there we go. Again, thank you to Dayton Moore for joining us. I do want to talk about a few things that he said. He didn't say anything about a turkey vulture.
He did say the turkey vulture is gregarious and roosts in large community groups.
We didn't say it like that, I don't think. Does Dayton Moore do accents and impersonations? I should have asked him.
They feed on small mammals such as mice and shrews to large grazers such as ungulates.
I should have asked him what he thought about my Denny impression. Dang it. Next time we have Dayton on.
Sometimes
I'll do the interview
accused of
as
carrying
Denny.
anthrax or hog cholera.
Okay.
They are a threat.
Good. Yeah, I can see that they're a threat. Again, it's wearing another bird's face on its face. All right, that's what that thing will do. Oh, look at that. It's a close-up picture. Oh, what's going on with the snout? Oh.
Terrifying.
All right, we'll continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you. Sterling Holmes, Dylan Michaels setting up until 2 o'clock. One more hour to go. We got the Cuts. It's called the Cuts now? We're calling it that? We got the Cuts coming up later on this hour. Celtics-Knicks tonight, Game 6 right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Royals-Cardinals, 3-game set starting tonight. Cole Reagan's on the mound. We got the Cole train going. Woo, woo. Yeah. He's kind of like the macho man of baseball, is Rex.
He really is the
we
macho
got the
man.
Cole train going tonight. Woo, woo. Ooh, yeah. Cole Reagan's on the mound. 6:40 is when that game starts. They have let people know be in your seats by 5:50 tonight for that 6:40 first
Dylan's
pitch.
going tomorrow.
Dylan, you heading out there tomorrow?
Yeah, I will be covering the game.
Nice.
For 810 Radio. I do that on a Friday and Saturdays for us.
Are you doing it tonight too?
No, I won't be able to do it tonight. My sister and her husband actually just had their baby boy last night, so
Uncle,
I am officially an uncle.
congratulations.
Yes, sir.
Or an aunt. You know, Uncle Dylan. That's friends.
Yeah.
They didn't know the sex of the baby, and it was like, oh my God, I'm going to be an uncle or an aunt.
Right.
We're not going to tell the sex of the baby yet. We don't know what it is. Hold on.
Yep.
That's awesome, man. Congratulations. First uncle?
Yes, sir.
First time you're an uncle?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
First nephew. So
Uncle Dylan.
Ben
Uncle Dylan.
Ward.
Ben Ward.
Very cool name, actually.
That is
Ben Ward slaps. That is a
like that, man.
blues
Middle initial
guitarist
M
too.
so it gets BMW as his initials.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's the 16th. You got to have that as your 16th birthday present if your initial. You can't name your kid initials BMW and not have that as a gift turning 16.
Look, I have no financial responsibility right now, so absolutely.
Yes,
no, what
of
you
course.
do is you get them like a 1989 Toyota Camry, and then you get a BMW and you sticker
Yeah.
or like the car plate and just put it on there.
Really endear myself to my nephew.
You buy him like one of those model cars, cast iron BMW cars.
That's actually a good idea.
See,
there you go.
I'm actually going to go
Dylan's
do that.
just a grinder. I go, hey, Dylan, you want to golf Saturday for free? And he goes, sorry, Sterling. I'm going to the Royals game because I'm a hard-working man.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Good for you, Dylan.
Verbatim, actually. That was exactly
Long
how
day's
it was.
work of watching baseball. You know, it's real, real tough.
It's really cool. I was, I guess my invite got lost.
Do you want to golf
translation.
Saturday?
No, little man's got a tournament all day.
Yeah, I figured.
So sorry about that. But you know
I'm
what?
not sorry about it.
But see, that's the thing is like that's the easiest invite you can give somebody. It's like we were talking about it with you know, inviting people to your wedding that you know are not going to go.
But what if
then
you say yes?
You invite them to your wedding. Yeah, well, that's you know what? I do want to go golfing. Sorry, little man. Hey, coaches. Yeah, I'm going to be out, so somebody else is going to have to coach third in the tournament. Little man will be there. And good luck, guys. I'll see you in the bracket on Sunday. Go get them. You know, make sure we get a good seed so we get a good start time, huh? Get a good path, all right?
That turkey vulture was big enough. He probably got to pay for him.
Get them, guys. Yeah, no, thank you for the invite. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to golfing with you. I couldn't go anyway, but thank you.
Yeah, meet me on the
invite.
9th green at 9.
Not going to happen. Not going to happen.
Wear something nice.
I have a responsibility, okay? I have children, all right? Dylan is now an uncle. He's got responsibilities, okay? He can't just go off and play golf whenever he wants. It's not like you know, being married and no kids. Dylan's got, he's now got more responsibility in his life.
Life's too short for responsibilities.
That's what they say. Thank you to Dayton Moore. We talked with him in the previous hour. I thought it was interesting that when I think back to the Will Myers deal, bringing in James Shields and Wade Davis, we have the power of hindsight. We know what that meant to this organization. We know what it meant to the team that ended up winning the World Series and going to the World Series, obviously, in 2014 with James Shields being a big part of that. So we know that simply trading Will Myers resulted in some pieces that got this team over the hump. But also, it was pretty controversial around here. Like, there were a lot of people that were not in favor of, hold on, you're trading maybe 6 years of a guy that could be like an MVP caliber player that you can plug right in the middle of your lineup and put him in the outfield, and you're good for a long time to join this group. And you're trading him for James Shields, a good starter, and Wade Davis that isn't a starting pitcher, that hasn't been good enough to be a starting pitcher. Like, what are we doing here? And interesting to hear that, you know, Dayton Moore saying in the front office, it was a divided front office. There were people that did not want to make that deal, that didn't want to make the trade. didn't think it was worth it. And for him to think back to that time as to how divided the front office was on that deal, and to then go, I had to, I felt like the deal needed to be done.
Yeah.
So it's like, you're the GM. Let's talk about it. What do you guys think? Well, you're pretty divided. We're not unanimous in this thing. We're not universal in our thought process on trading Will Myers for these particular players. Why are you against it? Why are you for it? Why are you against it? Why are you for it? Here's everything pretty divided. You guys are pretty passionate about this. Well, I'm the GM. I've got to make the decision. This is the best route to go. We're trading Will Myers. And the thought process behind it from Dayton Moore saying, because as an organization, we owed it to Hosmer and Alex Gordon and Salvi and Moose and Kane and those guys to put the pitching around the position players, because they had invested and given everything they had, and they had bought in, and Alex Gordon never demanded a trade or asked or anything like that, went down to the minor leagues, learned a new position, everybody with the buy-in of this group of players to then say, yeah, but we're not going to take somebody that's in the minor leagues right now and improve your chances of winning a World Series. We're just going to have them come up and join you, and then we'll figure it out after that. But we owed it to them because we needed pitching. We needed to get over the hump, and we felt like we had position players and our offense that we could do enough. We needed pitching, and we thought Wade Davis could be a good starter. But at minimum, we knew he'd be a really, really good reliever. Maybe not what he turned out to be, but a confidence that you were getting at least a frontline starter for your staff and a really dominant bullpen piece, potentially a frontline starter and another starter in Wade Davis. But not everybody was for it. It was it certainly sounded like it was just as debated in the front office as it was within the fan base of people for it and many people against it, and passionately arguing that side of it. And eventually somebody's got to step up and be the person that makes the decision. And Dayton Moore, thankfully, made the decision that they were going to trade Will Myers for James Shields and Wade Davis.
Well, and I think it really works in the favor of Wade Davis panning out.
Yeah, for sure.
Because he was more or less a throw-in, if we remember correctly. It wasn't like it was basically Myers for Shields, and okay, we'll throw in Wade Davis.
It might have been Odorizzi for Wade Davis or something like that.
I forgot Jake Odorizzi was in that as well. That was actually a pretty big one too.
Yeah, because they got Odorizzi in the trade for Greinke with Lorenzo Cain and those guys.
Because Wade Davis was basically a number 4 for 2 years as a starter in 24 and 10 and 11, 407, 445, about 175 innings overall. So you're like, that's a 4, right? Just he's a guy. He can eat some innings for you. And then in 2012, he was moved to a reliever and had a really good year.
Mm-hmm.
He had that 2.43 ERA.
In 70 innings.
And he was a really good reliever. But then the Royals tried to make him back into a starter because I think the value they thought was, okay, he started 24 games in 2013. But the ERA jumped to a 5.3. And then they said,
that was it.
And that was it. And then we were all sitting here, at least I was going, well, man, I don't know if that trade made a lot of sense. Then, yeah, James Shields has been really good, but look what Wade Davis is doing. That's brutal. And then we know the rest of the story of what Wade Davis ended up becoming. I just find it so interesting how his story ended up playing out and panning out, because it could have been so much different. If they try to keep using him as a starter, it was never going to work, it looks like.
And I think the story of him talking about that, they had scouts that had watched Wade Davis in the bullpen and said, yeah, can he be a starter? We think he can, but we are pretty confident he's going to be a dominant bullpen piece. So at minimum, you're getting James Shields and a dominant bullpen piece.
Yeah.
For Myers, Odorizzi, and you're getting guys to help get you over the hump to get into the playoffs and to hopefully, challenge, win a World Series. And you had to make that move. And it worked out. I'm going to go ahead and guess that they don't win the World Series if it's Will Myers. I don't know. Like I talked about yesterday when we found out that the Houston Astros offered Jose Altuve for Eric Hosmer straight up. And Dayton Moore said, no thank you. Well, maybe they win the World Series with Altuve and not Hosmer. I don't know. But I know they did with Hosmer. And we know who the heart of that team was.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, the sort of red-ass, ultra competitor, kind of an AH, Moustakas, the charismatic, people sort of fall in line around is Hosmer. And some of the things you don't know is, I know a weakness with me and my personality, I am not good at coming up with saying the right thing when somebody like needs like help. Like I'm like, I don't know what to say right here. Like, I don't know what advice to give or what to say to, keep you from being sad or help you in your career. Like, I don't know. Because in my mind, I'm already playing it. Well, if I say this, then this might be construed this way or that way. Okay, well, if I say that, I'm already 7 steps down the road as to what the result's going to be and what I think the reaction will. And is this actually dumb? Is this just sort of cliche? Am I saying this because I heard this somewhere else? I've already done that. And in the meantime, the moment has passed. Okay, so it's gone. Not a strength of mine. I understand it. People that can do that, envious of them. All right, those are people with a lot of wisdom. And to hear Dayton Moore say, Hosmer just had that knack to where you needed something to be said. You didn't know what it was, but you needed it in that moment. And then he offered it, and you're like, yeah, that was perfect. That's exactly what needed to be said and how it needed to be said, and he did that. So does Altuve do that? I have no idea. I don't know. But it was that group of players that came together and was able to do that in 2014 and 2015. And sometimes it's those, unanswered prayers. Zach Greinke, you're going to be traded to Washington. I don't want to go to Washington. I'm going to veto the trade. Okay. Well, now we got to figure out somewhere else. What about Milwaukee? I'll go to Milwaukee. Okay, cool. We're going to trade you for Lorenzo Cain and Alcides Escobar. I mean, like, what if he would have been fine going to Washington? There's so many crazy things that happen along the way that you're like, this group came together. You had to have Cain and Escobar and Hosmer and Moose and Gordon and then getting Volquez. And Dayton Moore telling the story of they were at a charity event and Volquez was there. And he told Volquez like a couple of years before, you're going to be a Royal one day. Just telling him how big of a fan he is and saying, look, you're going to be a Royal. And so when he became a free agent and Dayton Moore reached out to him, he was like, hell yeah, let's do this. I remember you telling me that. I know that you're not just saying this now as a free agent to try to attract me. You've been a fan of mine for a few years. You told me that a number of years ago that you're going to be a Royal one day.
What I think is also something to remember here is that all the trades and stuff that we have mentioned, it's going to hurt. It's always going to be one that is a tough decision. Trading Zach Greinke, the Cy Young winner, it's not always going to work.
And you better be right about it, man.
Yeah,
if you trade it, you got to be right.
It's not always going to work, but it really did in those, 12, 13, 14, 15. I remember the uproar trading Brandon Finnegan. How can you trade that guy?
Oh, yeah. Like, hold on. You're trading Brandon Finnegan's your number, depending on publication, he's one of your top 3 prospects in your organization. It's like Minaya, Raul Mondesi, and Finnegan are the guys, and you're going to trade one of those for a renter player in Cueto. You're going to trade another guy for a renter player in Ben Zobrist.
And you just saw Finnegan pitch in a World Series as a just after college. So I don't know. I just when you look at this and you break it down, I know people are always like, "Well, trade Hunter Renfroe for someone." Well, come on. Let's be serious here. It's gonna hurt. You're gonna have to give a player of value. It's not auto trades on MLB The Show.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have to trade something that other people want.
Yeah.
And you just have to at least make it equal, or at least you're right. And the Royals have been really good at that in the past, but that's what I'm even talking about now, and that's why I'm so glad you went through the list of the top 30 prospects or 25, whatever that number was.
In 2015.
In 2015, because people are so quick to overvalue their guys and undervalue other people's, when in reality, you can't do that, or else you're never going to get a trade done. So...
And for him to say, like, hey, Billy Beane, hey, Billy, nobody's off limits. Nobody's untouchable in our organization. And then for Billy Beane to go, look, I don't want to embarrass myself, okay? So, or you to be offended. I'm going to ask for Sean Manaea.
Yeah.
And for Dayton Moore to go, okay, let's work around Sean Manaea. And I bet Billy Beane was like, okay. It's like, you're going to probably throw a drink in my face, all right? You have those fantasy trades when somebody sends you an offer and you're like, really, dude? Really? I mean, come on, man. That's embarrassing. Yeah. And so it's interesting sort of hearing that, like Billy Beane approaching it that way of like, look, I'm going to ask for Sean Manaea if you're going to get Ben Zobrist. Great, let's work around a trade with Sean Manaea then. Let's do it. Let's find out a way that we can trade Sean Manaea for Ben Zobrist. I told you nobody's off limits, that everybody is available. And the Reds wanted pitchers, and they didn't want one person.
No.
The A's wanted one. I mean, they got another reliever there that wasn't like really part of like any future plans or anything. It was kind of a throw-in. Here's an arm. But the Reds were like, no, we're going to throw numbers at it. We want Finnegan, we want Lamb, we want Reed. And the A's were like, we want Manaea. We want one. We want that guy. We want Manaea. That's what we want. Okay. So then you trade Manaea, Finnegan, Reed, Lamb. It's like, man, you're trading 4 of your pitchers in your organization. And so we look at this Royals team now, and you're like, okay, they need offense. They need help. They don't have enough. What are you going to do to replenish or supplement or just simply plenish, not even replenish? It's like, well, you look down in the minor leagues. Yeah, but, man, you can't trade Blake Mitchell.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, he might be one of the – he's so young. He's 20 years old in rookie ball. He was the number, 6, 7 pick in the draft a couple of years. Like, you can't trade him. Like, he's one of the best defensive catchers we've seen in the minors right now. It's unbelievable. You can't trade it. Carter Jensen, like, come on, he's an on-base machine. Like, he's 21 years old still. Like, you're not going to trade Carter. And a local guy, Ben Kudrna. I mean, come on, you drafted Mazzucato so that you could have money to draft Kudrna and Carter Jensen. Like, you're really going to then trade him, a local guy that, Noah Cameron, we just saw him up with the big leagues. Like, no, you're not going to. Gavin Cross, like, that guy could be. I bring those names up, and not that people are like, you can't trade Gavin Cross. That's absurd. But the point of, we hear these names, and it's like, man, you can't trade that guy. And I went through 2015, and so they trade Sean Manaea, Brandon Finnegan, John Lamb, and Cody Reed. And the 2015 top 30 prospects before the Royals traded these guys, in some sort of publication trying to take sort of the consensus of all these different, Baseball America and MLB and a few others, 1 through 30, just hear the names: Sean Manaea, Raul Mondesi, Brandon Finnegan, Kyle Zimmer, Hunter Dozier, Foster Griffin, Miguel Amante, Chase Vallett, Christian Benford, Jorge Bonifacio, Scott Blewett, Bubba Starling, Ryan O'Hearn, Brandon Downs, Chesler Cuthbert, Dominic Taylor, Colin Rogers, Glenn Sparkman, Elier Hernandez, Ray Fuentes, Sam Selman, Ramon Torres, Lane Adams, Martin Gasparini, Orlando Calixte, John Lamb, Whit Merrifield, Cody Reed.
The 2 best players on that list were Whit Merrifield, obviously, and Ryan O'Hearn was probably the second best player.
It was your 3rd and 28. 13 and 28.
Am I wrong? Right, of that list, Ryan O'Hearn is probably the second best career of all the names you just listed.
Because it's been 3 years running for O'Hearn in Baltimore,
yeah.
Where Hunter Dozier had like a year and a half where he was pretty good.
I mean, I'm not trying
Zimmer,
to be
nothing.
facetious.
Mondesi was always.
What if?
Yeah. Yeah. What it was? Is it the Justin Herbert is the if man, or is it?
If man.
That was Raul Mondesi. But like Bonifacio, he's got great power. You gotta have that guy. Chesler Cuthbert. Well, you drafted him pretty high, man. Come on, man. This guy, you got all these different arms. Like, I don't know what people like. Hunter Dozier, you can't touch him. Like, no way you could trade Hunter Dozier. Come on. Kyle Zimmer, you better not trade him. He's got crazy stuff, man. I mean, he can't stay healthy, but good stuff for Kyle Zimmer. Wait till he gets it together and he gets that arm issue figured out. You know what I mean? Like, that's sort of the deal. Like, you never know. Like, if they traded Whit Merrifield, number 28, I don't think anybody would have batted an eye at the time. Of like, oh, the A's want Whit Merrifield and Sean Manaea for Ben Zobrist. Okay. But that turned out to be the best one. But I bet if it was like Sean Manaea and Kyle Zimmer and Foster Griffin for Ben Zobrist, it'd be like, oh my God, how could you do that? How could you give up all of that for a rental player in Zobrist? You traded Bubba Starling for him? Like, what are you doing? And now we see it, which could be the, really? You traded Ben Kudrna for that? You gave up Blake Mitchell for, that's all you got for Blake Mitchell? Really? You packaged Walters and Carter and Cross, and this is what you brought back? Like, just, there's a lesson in that we are so used to the names in our organization that we talk about and cover and discuss, that when the Royals trade a piece at the trade deadline to acquire a prospect, we're learning about that. Well, let's learn what this guy's name is. Yeah. Let's learn what this guy does. Let's check out Baseball America. Let's see what his grade scale is on his fastball and his changeup and his curve. What's the guy's hit tool? What's his power? How's his arm? What's his speed? How about fielding? What's the number on that? Let's learn about this particular guy when we're doing it. But I bet that fan base is like, I can't believe it. Like, we gave up this dude for that. Like, oh man, that really hurt. None of those trades really hurt. Like, Will Myers was Rookie of the Year, but did it really hurt to where, man, you saw Will Myers and, oh my God, like, he was just unbelievable for, 15 years playing like at MVP caliber level. Sean Manaea's been fine, threw a no-hitter, he's been injured. Cody Reed, John Lamb, Brandon Finnegan, no.
What's funny is I'm looking back even just overall in all of Major League Baseball. 2017, the top two prospects were Andrew Benintendi and Yohan Moncada.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, it gets better after that. There's Gleyber Torres and Dansby Swanson and Tyler Gleib. But, like, it takes a while. I mean, there's a whole bunch of names thrown in there. Like, how could you have ever traded or thought about trading Mickey Moniak?
Well, that's dumb. You wouldn't trade him.
Bradley Zimmer was 22nd. Clint Frazier, 24th. Remember Clint Frazier?
I remember Clint Frazier coming
perpetually.
up with the Yankee. Yeah.
It's kind of the whole point of even these top prospects, it's not a guarantee they're going to hit. And so I'm trying to look at...
And they're not going to trade Jack Caglione, but it could be something to think about if, like, wow, you get a guy with 3 years control who plays outfield and pretty good, and you had to trade Jack for him? That seems dumb.
2018 was pretty bad.
2018, bad as in, like, their rough...
Shohei Ohtani, Ronald Acuna Jr., Vladimir Guerrero Jr. But number 4 was Eloy Jimenez.
Okay, yeah. Well,
so it's like...
He had a little bit of a... He had a little stretch,
It's the whole, but it's the whole. You can't trade this guy, or you can't do that.
And you're talking about the top prospects in all of baseball, not just top prospects
baseball
in somebody's organization. And again, I think that's the lesson: is overvaluing your own players and undervaluing what the particular player you're acquiring can bring to the table. And we'll see what happens during the season this year if they have to move somebody. And again, I don't want them to move Carter or Ben Kudrna. That would be a trade that hurts, because of the local connection. Like, obviously, like, I don't want to, you've invested time and money and everything in Blake Mitchell. Are you going to trade him? Like, I don't know. I don't want to see him trade Jack. I want to see them bring Jack up. I'd like to see, Jack be with the big league club. That's what I'd like to see. I need to trade him, bring him up. How about trade his minor leagues for a Royals uniform? Trade the Naturals uniform for a Royals uniform. That's what I'd like to see, the trade. Trade in his minor league threads for some powder blue, some beautiful jerseys for the Royals, and a City Connect, whatever. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back, continue rolling. More Zone next. All right, we'll continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Sterling Holmes, Dylan Michaels. Text says, wouldn't it be fun if there was a big trade today?
Ooh.
Sure.
That would be fun.
Text says, can Wade Davis be a closer? Yes, he can. I like it. Thank you.
Yes, they can.
And it's just the point we were making.
That's right. We were talking about the turkey vulture earlier. Text says, Silence of the Lambs. Yes.
Yeah, dude.
That thing is,
petrifying. First, I was afraid. I was petrified.
Puts the lotion.
Petrified? Yeah.
It needs
lotion. Puts the
On
lotion on the deck.
There you
Puts
go.
the lotion
On the what?
The deck. It was flying on the deck. It's right here. That's where the vulture landed.
Didn't sound like he said.
Well, I don't know what's on your mind, but that's what I said.
Deck.
That's what I said. Text says, if there's a turkey vulture outside your window hanging around, it means there's something dead out there. Well, that bit is probably part of it, I would guess. Yeah. But yeah, that's Matt Derrick. If you're on Twitter, X, you follow Matt Derrick. If you're on Twitter and X and you don't, not sure what the deal is there. He tweeted
Says
out
more about you than anything.
Absolutely, yeah. He tweeted out the 2.5-minute video of that turkey vulture there. It was crazy, man.
Do you guys want some fun with numbers right now?
I like. I mean, I don't know.
Not really numbers as much, but more just fun.
I'm going to say yes.
Stuff.
I'm going to say yes, but I feel like it's one of those. Hey, I'm going to tell you something, but you can't get mad. Okay. Like, all right. I mean, I guess I'm agreeing beforehand before I even know what it is. But yeah, go ahead.
The AL Central has 4 teams in the playoffs right now. Detroit, Cleveland, Royals, Twins, all 4 are in the playoffs right now.
Stop the vote.
So for how good the AL Central is going to be, right? AL East. AL East is the best.
Mm-hmm.
AL East, look at all these teams. They have 1 team over 500. 1.
Yeah. There are 3 divisions in baseball that have 4 of their 5 teams over 500. There are 3 divisions in baseball. American League Central, American League West, and the NL West.
Yeah. Well, technically, the AL West only has 3 above.
Oh,
because the A's are 500.
Oh, okay. The A's
technically
are right at 500. Okay.
So
kick them out.
So if you say
mark them off the list, then they're out.
Mark it 0, dude.
This guy's dead. Cross him off then.
The A's are 500. Cross them off then. Okay. So it's the American League Central and the NL West, the 2 dominant divisions that everybody has talked about.
That's why I kept saying the AL Central is a lot better than people are giving them credit for.
Except the NL West is gifted because they get to play the Rockies. I mean, come on. I'm going to love hearing that all season. Right? We're going to hear that about the NL West, right? That they get to play the Rockies. That's why they're any good. That's why their teams are going to make the playoffs because they get to play the Rockies. Isn't that the same? Isn't that true?
Yeah, but I guess that's why I was so annoyed. I feel like the AL Central always gets overlooked because they don't have these big market teams. But I just think it's such BS. I mean, the Angels have been big market for how long, and they've been buns. The Mets have been big market for how long, and they've struggled. I know this year they're obviously having a great season. I guess just to me,
signing Juan Soto helps.
I'm just perpetually frustrated by the lack of respect given to the AL Central.
Well, also when the Rockies are 102 runs differential worse than the White Sox.
Oh my gosh.
The White Sox are 35 games, minus 35 in run differential. The Rockies are 137.
The Orioles are minus 74.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, so the AL East gets it beat up on the Orioles. Right. That's basically what we were
Pretty
saying.
much.
Actually, they're only, game and a half different? The White Sox and Orioles?
Baltimore's 2 games up on the White Sox.
Yeah.
They're 2 games better in the standings than the White Sox.
And I get it's May 16th, but I guess that was kind of my frustration is the AL Central's it's a gauntlet because there's 4 really good teams. 4 really good teams. They do it differently. They don't get a whole bunch of high-priced free agents, but they've built these teams to be contenders. I guess, yeah, I just get annoyed overall with the lack of respect. It's always the AL East, or any other, even the AL West. How many teams from the AL West? It's like the team of 4 playoff teams is sitting right in front of you. They got 3 playoff teams in it last year.
The White Sox are 7.5 games better than the Rockies in the standings this year. But we will not hear about the NL West and the, getting to feast on the Rockies the way that the AL Central was heard about getting to feast on the White Sox. Cole Reagans goes to the mound tonight. What's the level of, let's go with optimism, concern, nervous, excitement for Reagans on the mound against the Cardinals. 3 of his last 4 starts have left a lot to be desired. He had that phenomenal stretch of when he had 3 straight games of double-digit strikeouts, back-to-back games of double-digit strikeouts and no walks. And since then, it's been 4 innings, 5 earned runs, 3 innings, 4 earned runs, 5 innings, no earned runs, 11 Ks, 2 walks against the White Sox, and then 5 innings, 4 earned runs, and 9 base runners against Boston. Tonight's one of those nights to where you lost the series against Houston. The Tigers are playing unbelievable baseball still. The Twins have won 11 straight. Okay? Change the names, and we're talking differently about these teams around baseball, by the way.
Yes.
Again, to your point.
100%.
To your point. Twins have won 11 straight. Tigers are playing great baseball. The Guardians keep, finding ways to win still. And the Royals had the tough games against the Astros. And that last one. Tonight's a night where your ace goes out there and shows why he's an ace. That's what I would like to see, but that's kind of what, at this point, expect from Cole Reagans. Like, this team if this team's going to the playoffs, well, why are they going to the playoffs? Well, their pitching staff and their bullpen, and also Bobby Witt's an MVP caliber player. If those guys aren't coming through, well, then we're talking about them differently. So if we talk about them, it's the same thing with the Chiefs. It's like, well, Mahomes is having a terrible 3-4 stretch games of football. Well, then I don't really expect the Chiefs to be all that good in winning games because he's a big reason why they're Super Bowl favorites almost every year. It's because of how good he is. And one of the reasons why we look at the Royals and talk about them as a team that can not only make the playoffs but do some damage is that number 1 on the mound they can throw there in a series is Cole Reagans. So let's see if it's Cole Reagans tonight. The Cole Train, as Rex likes to call him. But they need Ray Guns out there tonight against the Cardinals. That's been playing, good baseball themselves. And a fun series with all of the memories and the nostalgia that'll be going on. And what should be awesome crowds this weekend.
Yeah.
Just awesome crowds the next 2 nights. And if Cole Ray Guns is on one tonight, it could be a fun game and a fun atmosphere for him to see him go out there and shove 7 innings, double digits, strikeouts, and give up 0 or 1 run and go and win that game tonight.
So Reagans has been a stopper, which you've mentioned multiple times. I know last year we went through the list, and you did a great job pulling all the numbers of what Reagans has done when the Royals have been on a skid. He is the stopper. He typically is the guy that snaps the skid.
They're 1-4. That's a tough skid. They got a 2-game losing streak, if you want to call it a streak, back to back.
There is some concern with the amount of pitches he's been throwing or amount of deep counts he's getting into. The strikeout numbers are phenomenal, but it's really elevating his pitch counts early in the game, and he's only been able to go 5, 4, 3, 5. That's been, even the great start against the White Sox, it was 5 innings, 11 strikeouts, but he could only go 5 because, again, the pitch count has just been so elevated. The strikeouts, again, have been great. I think why I'm still believing heavily in Cole Reagans, not just for the track record we have seen, but even this year, I know people are going to hate the underlying numbers and all this stuff. But again,
do you look at those?
I occasionally, not every day, not multiple times a day. Do I pull up underlying numbers for a lot of players?
Can you imagine like Sterling just sitting around the house, wife's in bed, nobody's there, and he's like, "Oh my God, I got everything to myself. Let me just sit back, open up my computer, and get into these underlying numbers."
Basically, what I do.
Cigarette ready?
But the batting average against has been okay, but it should be even lower. There's a lot of 1s in front of the numbers that he's been throwing. The changeup specifically, the changeup has, by all accounts, been really good this year, yet it hasn't been good on paper. Folks are slugging .462 against his changeup. The expected slug is .236. It's like the anti-Salvador Perez, where it's like Salvi's been unlucky offensively according to a lot of the metrics. Cole Reagans has been really unlucky, especially with that changeup. So while he has a 4.2 ERA and he's given up a lot of extra base hits with that change, I think there's some positive progression or regression, however you want to view it, coming his way. I think that starts tonight against the Cardinals.
I hope so. I'd like to see some of these underlying numbers become overlying numbers and see those actually on the big league club, because I love the analytics. I like the stats, but I also like the actual things that happen in a game.
Agreed.
And runs being scored and put across the plate. And, man, Salvi keeps hitting the ball hard. Well, okay. And also he's, keeps swinging it at pitches low and away in the other batter's box, and nobody should ever throw him a strike. And, more times than not, unfortunately, he'll find a way to get himself out, it seems. And, Cole Reagans, you're talking about these deep counts. Soren did an interview with Brad Penny yesterday. It was great stuff. He's going to be on a panel of sabermetrics and advanced analytics here in the Kansas City area late May. And he was talking with Brad Penny, who played in a time where there weren't, we weren't talking about spin rate. We weren't talking about all of this stuff that we're discussing now. And he talked about, being mentored by Randy Johnson. And Randy Johnson told him something to the effect of, I think, he said strikeouts are unsatisfactory or something along those lines. Strikeouts, there's nothing rewarding in a strikeout. Something along the, like, hold on, you're Randy Johnson. And he's like, I've never tried to strike somebody out. My stuff is that good that I get strikeouts. And he told Brad Penny, he's like, dude, pitch to contact. One game he said he had him go out there and it's like, no, just throw strikes, and don't try to strike anybody out. Just pitch, see what happens. And Brad Penny was like, 8 innings, no earned runs is what I threw. Cole Reagans is a guy that, has great stuff and pitches, deep in counts typically. Average exit velocity is 65th percentile. If that was in like the 80th or 90th, I'd say, well, yeah, then, you can get strikeouts, maybe pitch to contact just a little bit more from that standpoint. But we'll see. We'll see tonight with Cole Reagans out there on the mound against the Cardinals. Hopefully they can get back on their winning ways. We'll take a timeout, come back, Cuts next.
like him
Gelati,
a lot. I like him
the
a lot.
edge rusher.
I like him a lot. He was probably my favorite guy. I liked him because he went full speed every rep. He went on all the special teams. He went on all the scout on special teams.
Everyone says he's a coach's dream, like just as far as everything you want in a player, like inside the locker room.
Yeah, he reminded me of myself out there.
I did not give that part out when I said that Garrick Dieter loved Ashton Gelati.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, maybe we'll hear it in the cuts, how much he loves it. He reminded me of myself out there, just how much I loved him. Keep going, Dylan.
It's A&L.
Ooh.
O&L.
You changing your pick now?
Oh, yep, that was bad.
Good
O and
God,
L.
Sterling?
Omar, Norman Lott. Yeah, that's letters. That's letters.
See you Friday, Ken.
That was great, Dylan.
Oh, that was bad.
Omar, it's O&L, Omar, Norman Lott. Keep going. So I've got one of
listen
those
closely.
that
This one's
those little
little-
hammer things
Yeah.
with the baseball on the end. But I don't hammer it down. I stick the. Let's see how we can do this. Before.
Don't pull a Sterling.
So I'll take the glove
Thank
and
you
the
so much.
webbing of the glove.
Working
a glove in. And that. The thing that helps you break the glove in. I'll put
club.
Yes, the club. I'll put the club into the webbing. Mallet. Wrap the webbing around it and then slam it on the concrete with the pole side. Instead of like people that hit it with
Watch
do the
the
other
thumbs
way.
there.
Do it the other way, and so to create that pocket. So I'll do that for a while. I'll get it wet and leave it inside out.
Trying so hard.
And then I'll do that and again working with the. I'm just gonna say it. I don't care if you mark it all you want. I'm tired of trying to dance around it. I'll take the ball side of the club, right, and smack it into the webbing. Is what some people will do. I'm just gonna leave it in the webbing. I will wrap wrap the glove around it, and then pound it on the concrete shaft first on the concrete. To do that, I'll get it wet, flip it inside out. Let it work there for about an hour or so. Flip it back right side. Pound it into the webbing again. Get it wet. Pound it into the webbing again, and then leave it there for the night.
Just walk away, won't you?
Yep, and then just walk away. I won't even call it the next day. Won't even call it the next day. That's what I'll do. All right, enough. Not dancing around it.
That Jaws was
my
phenomenal,
goodness,
by the way.
He's always
Good job,
stalking.
Dylan.
Dylan is always stalking, waiting for his prey. Keep going. Blood in the water.
Yeah, I'm not going to predict injuries, but
You'll profit off them with a book, though.
Well done.
You got him.
God, Seren.
Yeah.
It is rare that you drop a one-liner on me that I have absolutely no response for, but you got me there, buddy.
Well done.
I got nothing on that one. I'm just take the win, do the victory lap, and let's go to the Final Four.
Nice job. Well done, everybody. Good week. Let's go Royals, man. Let's knock off the Cards this weekend. Program from Blue Hills up next.